Okay, we are recording on both.
Get Honeyview up so that we can.
Yes, we are recording on both the TV and on the camera.
Oh, were you going to do the sync test or what's going on?
It says. So do we?
I'm getting real nervous.
Starts counting down from 20. Like 20 minutes is the maximum amount of footage you can record at once. I have 300 hours of fucking record time based on the SD card I put in there. Is there a way around this? Like,
check in the settings.
Yeah.
There might be a way to like up the max.
okay, we're recording.
Get Honeyview open.
We're in it.
All right.
Here we go. The intro is playing. The music. Womp, womp, womp. And we're here.
We're in person.
In person, live, viewing our faces for the very first time.
We are not, in fact, just disembodied voices.
For the very first time on a very special episode of the Locacacast, we are no longer little green circles.
Series finale of the Locacacast.
Series finale. It's been quite a ride. How long ago did we start this show?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. How long did you think this show was gonna go for? Because I thought it'd go for longer.
2 years at the minimum.
Me too. Like, you know the other JoJo podcast I checked out? They were like, oh wow, we've been doing this for almost 4 years. And I was a little jealous, because I wanted to get there. Our baby dies early.
I don't think we were going to make 4 years, but...
No, I mean, I didn't think JoJolian was going to be that long. But I thought we'd make it to 2 years at least.
2 years, nice round number. It would have been nice to hit it.
Yeah. But if there's anything you can tell from this podcast, it's that I did not think JoJolian would be ending so soon.
No, our expectations are rarely correct.
Yeah, almost never. Although we did have a nice stroke of good luck this month. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, welcome to the final episode. I'm Zach. I'm dressed as Josuke. This is Chris.
I'm not dressed in the shirt that I said I was going to wear for this episode because, hey, the U.S. Postal Service are a bunch of incompetent bumblefucks. So instead, you get to see my shirt that I got from Belize. It's a Mayan calendar shirt. I guess it's kind of JoJo related. I mean, like, technically it was the Aztecs and not the Mayans.
Right.
But
although, like, I feel like Araki doesn't really know or care about the difference. Because he sort of does, like, these Mayan carvings and shit in the flashbacks. Of the
Araki don't care.
No, he's fusing it all. But, yeah, I'm dressed as Josuke. Chris is dressed as Chris. We've decided to be in costume for this final episode. And boy, what a final episode of JoJolian it was.
It also is an episode beset with many pitfalls.
Oh, yeah.
You may see us start and stop conversations at random throughout the episode. Just don't worry about it.
There may be some jump cutting. It was a comedy of errors just getting to this point where the camera's rolling and we can do the podcast. So, just bear with us on this one. We're a ramshackle operation, the same as we've always been.
I believe I described it before as we are now the proud owners of the most ghetto recording setup in the history of mankind.
I should take a picture of this. I should put it up. Like, here's what we're dealing with.
We've got Zach's laptop is connected by HDMI cable to the TV in his hotel room.
Yeah, I'll send this picture to you. You can put it up at this moment. We've got the camera resting on top of like a cable box, just barely underneath the TV, which we have manga on.
Well, we actually had to move the end table
laptop.
just so that the HDMI cable would reach the laptop.
All of this is to say We put in hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Literally sweat. This is a hot outfit that I'm wearing.
Oh yeah, and also we can't use the air conditioning because it's too loud.
So we're gonna suffer for our art. We're gonna fucking jump over every pitfall, one by one, as they appear. Metaphor over. Yeah, jumping over the pitfalls. And we're here. The podcast is happening. So Chris, what did you think of the final chapter of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 8, JoJolion?
It was disappointing in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the actual content of the chapter, but mainly because it represents the end to a journey that I feel didn't wrap up in a satisfying manner.
Right. It's not so much disappointing for what is in the chapter, it's more disappointing for what was never in any chapter,
and
now doesn't have a chance to exist.
And like you said before, Araki can wrap things up, like a lot of things up in a short amount of time. Like you said with the ending of Steel Ball Run. We're not going to bring up like older chapters, so you can take a look at those in this episode because Zach doesn't actually have those on this laptop.
Oh yeah, we've got the mobile setup going, so I've only got the latest chapter. So, Hey, but you know what? You know who's in the latest chapter? You know who fucking Araki decided to draw again one more time? Bing! I am a rock!
He is pointing to Yotsuyu Yagiyama. Ding, 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 ding,
ding, ding, ding.
I am a rock.
But I can't, like, of all the times that I brought him up suddenly and been like, oh yeah, it's my favorite fight, I reference him all the time, Araki remembers him too! Araki also likes that stand in that fight and, like, considers it important enough to draw next to Wonder of You and the stone mask. Like, that's so cool! I was so happy he showed back up. Sorry, I interrupted you. You were talking about paging through the manga on the laptop.
I was pretty much done with what I was going to say. Do you want to just get right into the chapter? I mean, we gotta blaze through this because of the technical limitations.
I'm going to be drinking a Monster Pacific Punch, which I bought due to the nautical theme. It has an anchor on it. You can't fucking see that. I don't care. Whatever. Josuke theming.
There's noises going on outside.
Josuke theming achieved!
You may also hear
Cheers.
noises. There's somebody doing yard work outside. So
are they doing yard work or are they doing hard work?
It's both. Typically when you're doing yard work, it is hard work.
Not if you're on a riding mower.
Oh, there we go.
That's a little better, isn't it?
Why didn't I think to close the window? I'm on this side. I should be the one to think of these things.
You know what I'm thinking about? It's actually like an unexpected boon, an unexpected benefit that we have this thing where we have to break up the recording into chunks. Because then it's like, we run out the clock on this first one, and we go, shit, that was all preamble. Okay, time to get on to the chapter. Run out the clock on that one. Okay, time to move on. Like, we have really strict segmented chunks to the podcast now. This is amazing.
It's the ultimate chapter skip episode of the Locacacast.
Oh yeah. Because you're gonna be editing it that way. You're not chopping it up later in the comments. But hey, so
I mean, we are. We'll figure it out later. He might be editing this one, which means it might be out much later.
Ah, fuck. All right, I'm gonna remember that and do something about it. Maybe. But yeah, so the chapter itself. Check out this. Check out Josuke waving this flag that doesn't make any sense. How does that flag work? I guess like every other piece of cloth in JoJo. Anyway, I like this page.
It's just an excuse to draw soft and wet, and it looks like Paisley Park on there as well.
Speaking of which, that soft and wet right there, that is what I crossed off for on my bingo card.
I imagine so.
One more soft and wet appearance. Alright, and then we've got some more beautiful pieces of art. Oh, and it says JoJolion, number 110, in very thin white text. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, you know, these are some nice final, like, send-off pages. Like, cover pages, big illustrations. I liked them. So yeah, the guardrail. The guardrail. Oh, the guardrail. What to say about the guardrail?
You know what? we confirmed this chapter that the guardrail is a rock animal.
I think
which was another thing for the bingo card. You know what? We'll address the bingo card at a later time in our conversation. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can all take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But we figured out that this guardrail is actually a rock animal, and like the name of the chapter is the Radio Gaga incident, but that's never confirmed to be the name of like the guardrail rock animal. It's always just said to be the guardrail. I think it's a real missed opportunity for Iraqi to use another rock animal name. And for this, I was thinking, you know that song "Blue" by Eiffel?
Yeah, Eiffel 65.
Dabba dee dabba da.
I'm blue, dabba dee dabba da. Yeah, dabba dee dabba da would be a great rock insect name. Also, would have appreciated any sort of Scatman John reference. Even
that's what you were holding out for.
Skibbity bop. Skibbity bop I would have accepted. Like any sort of, I'm not expecting you to name him I'm not expecting that. It would take up too much space in the text box, and think about how long that would be to spell in kana.
Well, no. See, the trick is like in the first issue that it's introduced, it gets the full name, and then he just chops that name in half. As is tradition with these rock animals.
From that point on, it's called Skibida. We just shortened it down.
Skibidi ba bing ba 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 da ba.
Bing ba 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 da ba. So we're a little bit disappointed the rock animal, the guardrail, didn't get a real name.
I'm a little disappointed with the fact that this I did want I'd like Part 5's epilogue, Seven Slaves. I like that it's a flashback rather than a continuation.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't introduce entirely new main characters.
It didn't need to take time introducing new characters.
We were still following the people we knew and cared about.
We already knew Bucciarati and the rest of the gang.
Right.
I think, here, it just doesn't work as a finale. It goes back and tells a story that I don't think we needed to know about, really. What does it really explain? Like the bite marks?
I guess, but it's the thing is, I'm wondering if it's even wishful thinking on my part that this is supposed to be in any way related to the bite marks. Do you think it's just complete coincidence? Right, because does this is the hard thing with Iraqi, that I don't...
It's possible this is an explanation for the bite marks, but it's also possible that, hey... But because he didn't... somebody bit someone. It's like...
Mm-hmm. Because he didn't cut straight from the... the Radio Gaga incident, and then that thing being launched off the cliff with the car...
What's the time on this? Do we have?
We got 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Excellent. We've been doing 11 minutes of preamble, and we're already in the chapter.
Cool.
Oh, hey, how was your month? Want to slow down? Want to waste a bunch of time?
My month was uneventful. We started up a Minecraft server for West.
Oh yeah, we did.
The West boys.
We've been playing tons of Minecraft.
Yeah. That's basically what I've been doing since the chapter dropped. Is just playing Minecraft and keeping up with the current animes that I've been watching.
Man, I've been watching other television shows, other cartoons, just to try and fill the void, to find a story that I'm really interested in. And some of them are good, but the whole month I was it was strange. It was I wasn't even thinking about that JoJolian was going to come out. I was thinking about that I had this road trip to do, and then I needed to plan and pack and buy the right stuff. I had to buy a new microphone for the camera for this one.
Oh yeah, our DMs are intermittently filled with I'm telling Zach about stuff I did in Minecraft, and I'm asking him questions about about this episode.
Hey, so are you going to bring a tripod? And I'm yeah, dude, 100% I am. And then it's a 5-hour drive from my house to yours.
And then he's on the road, and
Two and a half hours deep in the journey. I'm thinking about okay, so when I get there, how are we gonna set it up? I'll plug my computer in, and we'll put the camera on the... And I'm I'm already 2 hours deep into the journey. I can't turn around. I just had to accept that I was fucked, and I forgot the tripod. But we're making it happen, There's many pitfalls to jump over. Some self-made, others, I don't know, divine in nature. But, why did I just make that joke about distracting us by asking about our months, when I knew it was just going to actually distract us?
I don't know.
Where were we?
Fortunately, we don't have much in our months to talk about. So
Yeah.
all right.
Whether or not it's the bite marks.
The bite marks. Okay, well we can get into that when we actually get into the chapter,
Wait, hang on.
and that becomes relevant.
Is Araki expecting us to remember the bite marks and associate it with this thing that lives in the area that eats people? Like, or is he just doing something and we're drawing a parallel that wasn't meant to be drawn?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to draw any conclusions because it's like we drew one conclusion correctly that Fumi-kun is Joseph Joestar.
I wanted to ask you, do you think that would have hit harder this month if we hadn't figured it out last month?
Probably.
Well, then sorry. Sorry I brought it up.
I don't know.
Fuck.
I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't 100% sure at that point.
But we didn't get confirmation on whether he was Sadafumi. Whether he's the same person.
I don't know about that one. So
that one seems to still be just implicit.
He's either Josefumi's grandfather or father. Because one of those people is Sadafumi. Well, no, you're saying they didn't actually make any motion in that direction, so it's up to you to assume.
His name is Fumi-kun, but actually Joseph Joestar.
Right. Josefumi. Josephu.
Oh yeah, by the way, spoilers for the chapter that we haven't been paging through.
Yeah.
You want to just start paging through? And,
yeah.
and talk about stuff as it comes?
Gosh, man. Yes, I would. So this guardrail is a lie. And then, all sorts of amazing artwork. Great detail on those horrid rotting organs.
This is the most fucked I've ever seen a human body still functioning since Rat.
I know. And it's like, Araki loves to do this.
Which was part 4, interestingly enough. Is this a Rat callback?
Araki loves to do this thing where he draws his characters in, like imagine if Lucy Steele was already, like, she had her arm sucked into it and she was, like, upside down with her back on it. She's already fucked. She's already dead. Like, if you get glass in your throat, you're already fucked. You're already dead. But he likes to draw our characters in, like, a really exaggerated amount of danger when, they could still be alright or they could be saved.
You're off camera, by the way.
Yeah, I just realized that. I should get back on camera. But yeah, so... Oh, there's a turtle outside. You see him?
I do. I see the turtle.
He's a tortoise.
We're getting distracted by our surroundings.
So yeah, they're unfamiliar surroundings. Neither of us have been here before.
Despite the fact this place is like 15 minutes from my house.
Well, what use do you have for a hotel 15 minutes from your house?
That's true.
Yeah. So, Lucy Steele is in a ridiculous, exaggerated amount of danger here with the way Araki's portraying it. And then the same thing is going to happen to Fumi in a few pages, where his, like, face almost gets sucked in. And I feel like it's kind of a cheap trick. You're pointing at me to make the page move?
No, I'm pointing at you because I understood that reference.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to make the page move anyway. But, as much as I love Araki, and as much as all the quirks of his writing, I enjoy them, and I think that's what makes it cool. Like, if you think that's why it sucks, you're wrong. That's why it's great. As much as I enjoy all those little quirks that you could describe like that, I feel like this thing where he, like, way exaggerates the danger sometimes, so you can never tell what's a killing blow or not, what's a serious danger, or what's like, oh, you can just get grabbed out of that. I'm kind of getting sick of it. Like, would you please illustrate the threats at an appropriate level so I know how scared to be of them?
Well, fortunately, you won't have to deal with that much longer because we got confirmation that he's doing part 9, and that might be the last part.
So what do you think about, because it's called JoJo Lands, and before I ask you this, you have 2 minutes and 15 seconds to answer. Because it's called JoJo Lands, and the first 5 letters of the name of the part are Jojol, do you think it's going to be the JoJolian sequel?
No.
I don't think he could possibly do that. He's never done that before.
And here's why.
I would love it to be true.
And you might want to, like, restart for...
No, it won't be the JoJolian sequel. And here's why, right after this. And we're back. Now tell me, motherfucker, why is it going to be not the sequel to JoJolian?
Okay, so first of all, JoJo Lands is a tentative title. It's very unlikely to stick. Second, he doesn't really do sequels to parts. Like once a part is over, he moves on. And originally, I thought like with JoJo Lands being the title, like maybe he's gonna do maybe he'll do something wild. Like what if he goes to like the end of time? What if he goes to like post-apocalypse JoJo? That'd be something interesting.
I really hope there is a big shakeup like that.
But the part's not going to be called JoJo Lands. That's just the tentative title that he put in there.
Right.
It could be that's what he's hinting at, but like I've never seen
JoJo
titles
Lands.
So like close together. Like
Right.
you know, like for the first like 6, well, not the first 6, but like you had Phantom Blood, you had Battle Tendency.
Although remember, these were all only named when Stone Ocean came out. Before that, they was called JoJo Part 1, Jonathan Joestar, His Youth, JoJo Part 2, Joseph Joestar, His Legacy, and then Part 3 was called Heritage for the Future.
Okay, well, so...
Then Diamond is Unbreakable was the first one that was like, oh, it's called a specific subtitle, and we kept it for the...
Yeah, and like since then, they've all been named after like the part of the stand. You know, like you have Diamond is Unbreakable, you have Golden Wind,
Stone Ocean, Steel Ball Run, that's Gyro.
Yeah, and then Steel Ball Run is also the name of the race.
Well, yes, true. But that JoJolion breaks that tradition.
JoJolion is the first part that like the title has had very little to do with the actual plot.
Except for then when we got that amazing fucking title drop from Yasuo. In like,
which still means nothing.
Yeah, she just looks at the thing that's happening and says, JoJolion. Like, wow, you really brought it home, Yasuo. You really wrapped it up, really bookended that part really well.
That's how you coin a fucking word.
Yeah.
It's like, just point to a situation you've never seen before, JoJolion.
Yeah, JoJolion. That reminds me, there's a video by a guy who reviews video games, and he's doing an impression of Troy Baker. You know who Troy Baker is. He's a voice actor. He voiced Joel in The Last of Us.
Very prolific voice
Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 5. Very prolific voice actor. He was doing an impression of Troy Baker saying like a Troy Bakerism, like something one of his characters would say. And he went, you know, the funny thing about driving your car off a cliff is when you're in midair, you still hit those brakes. I think that's hilarious. He does another one. It's like, we had an uncle. He lived in a cave. Had hair all over him. He was very angry all the time. Later we found out he was a bear. Anyway, JoJolion. Now that's what I call a motherfucking equivalent exchange. Jesus. The floorboards keep like shifting dangerously underneath my feet.
Oh yeah, we're... Like, this place has a wine cellar, so, like,
yeah,
Zach was like, well, at least we're on the ground floor, we can't fall. And then I'm pointing out, no, this place has a wine cellar. He's like, oh.
Yeah, we have a level B1 that we could possibly plummet into. There's a basement beneath us. But, like, this here, this is a ramshackle operation, just like we are, you know? They're like the underdogs struggling for success. Anyway.
Plus, it'll be great content if one of us does fall through the floorboards.
Oh, yeah, it would be. Jesus Christ. I mean, provided the camera stays in the same place. Otherwise, it just looks like somebody walked by and knocked the camera over.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Oh, man, we were walking around the property. This is like a vineyard. They have, like, weddings here, but I got a hotel room here because the place looked nice, and it was close to his house. So the point is, they were walking us around, and they were like, oh, yeah, over there's the vineyard. That's true to life, though. I do that over Discord. Over there's the vineyard. We got our wine, grapes growing. And then all around us is the orchard. We grow all kinds of fruits here. Grapefruits, plums, and I'm like...
He gives me a knowing look.
I just look at him and neither of us say anything. It was great. Because you know what that look meant, right?
Yes, obviously.
Let's set this orchard on fire.
Oh.
In order to tease out the person who knows where the branch is.
Okay.
Get with the program. We're not going to pour Tom this shit. We're not going to Jobin this shit. Anyway.
Poor Tom got shot in the face and Jobin got stabbed. Are those really the role models you want to go for?
What are your favorite fights from JoJolion? Because poor Tom has got to be one of mine.
I think probably my favorite is...
Like, that fight has everything.
I think my favorite is probably Blue Hawaii.
Blue Hawaii is excellent. And we've discussed the sort of inconsistency with the shoe But that means nothing to me in the face of like how compelling the arc is. It's like really well done. Like I really like it when Araki takes a popular concept and he like does it his way. That's like Araki does zombies. Like we're never gonna get zombies in JoJo, but characters who are individually possessed one by one and no longer care about their physical well-being.
It's also like the start.
It's like the same thing.
Also like the start of like what I thought was going to be an ongoing trend in JoJo Leon, where like the battles are similar to Part 4 battles, like
Highway Star.
Blue Hawaii is Highway Star, and then like I guess poor Tom was supposed to be Stray Cat. He was supposed to be Jobin's Stray Cat. Obviously, that didn't pan out because Jobin wasn't the main villain.
Yeah. God, can we mourn the loss of Jobin for a minute here? Like, he's such a great foil for Josuke. He's like a spoiled kid who just wants every day to be a summer vacation. He's had everything handed to him. Like, he knows where he comes from and he knows what his place in the world is. Like, he's going to take over the fruit parlor and lead the family after his dad dies. So somebody who has no idea what their place in the world is and is like struggling at all moments, you know, he's a perfect foil for him. Josuke is like, no, I want the fucking...
We can also mourn the loss of Araki drawing things for no reason, because he did draw Jobin's hand for no reason. He drew that panel of Jobin's hand for no reason.
Jobin's hand?
When he's lying there dead.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. I'm the one who brought that up. I was like, that's significant. Jobin's hand, we get a single shot of it. They're telling us he's still in the narrative. No.
Man, you should have brought your clown wig.
And my honk honk nose. And a little kazoo. Yeah. Hey, by the way, this is what Josuke's hair looks like underneath the hat, everybody. He has long,
that's
dark blonde hair.
incredible.
So, you know, just be glad he never took it off. Because you would have been like, what? And it would have ruined your conception of the character. This is canon. You just don't know it yet. But, like, okay, so if there's going to be no JoJo Lands as the sequel to Part 8, because I feel like it has to be, but also I feel like how could it possibly be?
So we discussed.
There's too much stuff left unresolved.
We discussed how this could possibly be reconciled, and it's in addition to JoJo Lands being announced and the Part 6 anime being given a date for its premiere. There was also the announcement of the first spin-off for JoJo.
I did see that. It was written by... I had his name in my head earlier today. Kohei Kodono. He's the same guy who wrote Purple Haze Feedback and Boogie Pop.
I'm glad he's getting like a chance to do something official.
Yeah.
I've never actually read Purple Phase
Purple Phase Heedback.
Purple Phase Feedback. I've never actually read Purple Haze Feedback, but
you know that's not the agreed upon title though. People call it other things. People call it like Shameless Purple Haze and Purple Haze Distortion. So I'm wondering if they ever animate it or bring it over as a translated novel. What are they going to call it? Because I like Feedback the best.
But all this to say, I've never actually read it, but I hear good things about it. So I'm glad that guy's getting a chance to work on something official.
Right.
But Araki hasn't really done anything like this before. I mean, there's the Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe one-shots, but like spin-offs are kind of a new thing for him. And so like, I was thinking, why not? Because, and we'll get into this in the chapter to come, but Josuke makes mention of some of the fruits still being on islands.
Right.
And there's still Holly left to cure. So that's a great setup for a spin-off if he ever wanted to address that.
Yeah. I don't, you know, I do want to see that. I want you to be right, but also I don't know. Because like it seems like the way he mentions it is like, well, there are probably some out there in the world, like back in the native environment they came from to here in the first place. But all we needed was to not let them get into the hands of modern society. So as long as they're just out there somewhere in the wild, that's fine. I didn't get the impression it was going to be like the arrows, like he was going to go search for them.
But he made it his mission to cure Holly.
Dude, it makes me so like, I can't believe in the finale of this fucking part, he just says like, whatever, I guess I didn't need to heal Holly. Like, don't you remember when you jumped out of the police car? You gave that whole speech to Mamazuku. I gave that whole speech to Mamazuku about how the only thing that matters in this world is protecting the person who is a mother to both of my halves, and if I save her, then I achieve, like, I've finally done something good for somebody else, as opposed to sort of just, like, going around in life being like, what the fuck's happening? I have a goal and I must complete it, and then he just does it.
It's always great when you just discard your entire reason for being.
Dude, and then fucking Kiyomi Kujo just shows up, like, out of nowhere. Totally unearned, totally a wasted appearance. I don't feel like I got anything from that.
She was done in the story. There was no reason to bring her back at all. Of all the characters
I know.
to bring back into the story.
And it feels so stupid, like, oh, I don't need to rescue my good mom, because my shit mom who let me drown is still alive. I'm happy with that. Like, what? So yeah, I guess I am kind of disappointed. I don't get a lot of these decisions that were made in this last chapter here. But, there are a few bits I like. There are a few panels I like.
Let's continue rolling through, and we'll maybe get to those bits.
Mm-hmm. But I'm just gonna say, if Josuke was gonna make it his mission to go to the islands and recover more fruit, then he shouldn't have fucking stepped on all those vials.
You know what he should have done?
Remember when he was stomping them and he was blowing them up with soft and wet? He was just destroying all of the healing liquid, so he could definitely not save his friends or mom. Like, what was up with that?
Remind me to like come back to this when we actually get to the final page.
Okay.
It's like. That's the missed opportunity there.
I'm sure we'll have many a thing to say once we get there. So, guardrail attacked us. What's going on? It has a mind. Go. Guardrail. So the rock animal's like a guard dog for this area. Lucy. Oh yeah, and then this right here. This is what I was saying is...
this is what he checked off for bite marks, and I'm like, that...
It's an enormous stretch. It's an enormous stretch. I will tell that to you right up front, but...
Because not only that, that's not even the guardrail making the bite marks, that's this one dude who was very specific to this one situation. Plus I think he gets like jibbed in like the next page.
Well, I did say it was an enormous stretch. Next, so yeah, he's still here. Is the right? So he's like an extension of this. Like there's like a mass. Like he's using this guy as simply a puppet, the rock animal. It's keeping him alive on purpose.
I can't wait to see how they handle this in the anime, because like you know how like the anime never handles stuff that's gory.
Yeah.
Well, it's because of like the broadcast restrictions.
Yeah, the broadcast one will have it as like a shadowy, just like a black shadow over it.
This dude's gonna look like they didn't even unlock the character yet.
That was one of my favorite jokes in the 2016 election, where it was like, people are gonna vote for the Democratic candidate, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton. And then it had a black shadow, and it said undecided, 44%. It's like most people were undecided. And then somebody took that and put it on Twitter and said, when it's this far into the election and you still haven't unlocked all the Democrats? Like, come on, man. I come over to your house, I expect you to have all the Democrats unlocked.
Oh, where I saw that originally was like this group photo of like, I think it was like a high school group.
Yes.
And like it's like the one guy is like pitch black, and it's like, they haven't unlocked this character yet.
Oh man! So
well,
yeah,
it does look like a fighting game character select.
Yeah, just the pure silhouette. But this guy right here. I mean, what part of them are they going to put the shadow over? Like realistically.
Well, they did manage to pull off Metallica.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
So maybe there's like, and also like Crunchyroll doesn't. Well, Crunchyroll still no. Crunchyroll doesn't have the license for Part 6. It's Netflix.
Oh yeah, it's Netflix. Damn, son. Okay, so I don't need to get my Crunchyroll subscription renewed. Like I always cancel it in between JoJo parts and then renew it, like when Part 5 was coming out, and then cancel it when it's done. Because that's the only anime coming out that I need to watch the week it comes out. Because I'm like that excited about it. But yeah, so this guy, here's my justification for him being the source of the bite marks. So I'm gonna like sit right here with my head in the frame, and I'm gonna move the thing like this. So First of all, isn't it badass that he just like starts punching? Like he doesn't even use his stand. He's like, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of this guy. And then,
here's major missed opportunity number one of this chapter is like you theorized last month that those pouches contain steel balls that he's going to use. And nope. Although we did get something better.
We got something pretty much equally as good.
Okay.
I mean, I would have liked the spin
I'll concede that it's equally good.
I would have liked the spin thing a lot, because then you'd have, like he's the last Hamon user, like Joseph.
Well, like this reveal of the star on the shoulder is probably one of the better ones in my opinion.
It's pretty cinematic. It's pretty nice. I like it a lot. So then, yeah, he's like trying his best not to get sucked in. And like these shots, this is what I'm talking about. Doesn't it look like he's already fucked? He's already done for? Like previously, we've shown this thing to be like, if you're standing that close to it, you are already being shredded.
It's like, I'm looking at a wood chipper.
Yeah. It's like there aren't hard and fast rules. It's like sometimes it's deadly from this distance, sometimes not. And that's been par for the course the whole time, but now I hate it suddenly.
Did you ever see the sequel to Kingsman?
Yeah, you know what? That's the only one I've seen. I remember you liked the villain. You thought he was in the right, the guy that got fed to the wood chipper, the meat grinder.
I didn't exactly. Well, he had good motivations.
He did, but he was I think drawing the wrong conclusion or taking it too far.
And that's what makes a good villain.
Yeah.
It's like you can see his point, but he took it too far.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is what that reminds me of, because like you remember during that fight he lassoed Eggy.
I don't remember the characters' names, but I do remember like who was there. The main guy.
The main guy, yeah.
Yeah, okay, the guy
he lassoed him around the neck and tossed the end of the lasso into the meat grinder.
Oh, I do remember that.
Tell me that shot of the guy's intestines wrapped around his neck and pulling him in doesn't look like that.
It looks exactly like that. That's a perfect like cinematic parallel. It's the same moment, like viscerally, like our character's head is being pulled towards certain doom. That's cool. I forgot about that entirely. I remember the meat grinder. I forgot he like tries to use it on our hero before our hero feeds him to it.
Yeah.
Neat. Alright, well I'm moving to the next page. We've seen the reveal of the star. Check out my shoes. I got Josuke's shoes. Hey, later, can you take a picture of me in this outfit where I'm holding a bottle of water and pulling at the shoe? I'm going to recreate the... Alright, boys. Hold up. My shoes are thirsty.
You want to use that as like the...
Yeah, because that was like... What was that, the first one?
It might have been the first one.
I think it was. No, wait. Was it... it might have been like the second. It was early. It was one of the early ones.
Well, I don't think we had one for the first episode because we were still figuring that shit out, so it might have been the first like end card that we had.
Right. I feel bad because I have...
How's our time going?
Oh, 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Good call there, soldier.
Okay.
But I feel bad because I haven't seen all of those ending memes that you put in. Like, I've watched some of the episodes in my own time, but usually, like, if I were to watch them right after they come out, I'm like, yeah, I know, I remember saying all this. But if I watch them, like, 6 months later, I don't remember anything that I said. So it's like listening to somebody else talk about JoJo. Two totally other guys. But I haven't seen all of those ending memes you put in. I think I'm going to need to...
Yeah, I think...
we got 1 minute. I'm going to go through the podcast, I'm going to listen to every episode, and I'm going to highlight my favorite moments, and I'm going to make a best of video. And in the process of doing this, I can properly show my appreciation for the work that you have done in editing the podcast and putting in inside jokes and shit that may never be found by anyone.
I think the cheese pieces is definitely my best work.
I love that one. That one's incredible, the California King Bed cheese pieces. Alright, here we go. We got 30 seconds, so I'm going. Right, so where were we? Fumi's getting his head smashed into the fucking guardrail. He's punching it. Yeah, see, look, his head goes all the way the fuck in. Don't you think he's just dead? Don't you think he's done?
When you're that close, that seems like death.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what I'm saying to you. It's very... Araki doesn't have hard and fast rules for anything. Like, Not the
Sometimes-
narrative, not the
sometimes-
combat, not the physics. Like, everything's fluid.
Sometimes he'll go like beyond. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Sometimes he'll go beyond. Did you do that on purpose?
No.
Okay, cool.
Happy accident.
Go ahead.
But do you remember Jotaro's fight with ZZ Top or whatever?
ZZ Top?
Was it
Explain to me what the stand was.
the car?
Oh, Wheel of Fortune, bro. Wheel of Fortune.
Right, that one. I thought no, the guy was ZZ.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
That's the point of confusion.
I did not remember the guy's name at all.
Okay. Well, I remembered like there was a car thing and the letters ZZ and it's like, oh right, okay. But no, you remember how he got set on fire during that fight and like you see him actually like burning, you see his silhouette,
Yeah.
and then like it turns out no, that was just my jacket. It's like, dude, we saw a full man in those flames.
I forgot about that because it was so stupid. Like, I'm pretty sure that was one of the episodes in part 3 where I was like falling asleep during it. And if I wasn't, I bet I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And just immediately purged that memory. I just threw it away because I didn't think it was cool. I didn't want to remember it.
That's the only time I think a character has been like this close to death. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even like I don't even think that really counts. I think because like that's not even like close to death. That's just Araki lying to us.
Do you think that was the last page of a chapter and readers had to wait till next week to find out Jotaro actually didn't get burned alive?
I imagine that'd probably be the lamest fucking.
The worst fucking cliffhanger imaginable. Like the last page of the chapter, your main character.
Plus, it drops to be continued at the end of every chapter.
Yeah, your main character just being immolated, just consumed in flames. It's like, hey, check in next week. Why? My boy is dead. I'm no longer interested. Okay, start the car's engine. She says, I'm sure you have experience with it. I know you can start the car's engine from that spot. Don't ask me how I know, but I just know.
Don't ask me how I know the exact nature of your stand.
Start the
Which
engine.
you absolutely have, even though I don't even know what stands are.
This shit's incredible.
Boy, it's sure lucky for her that Joseph has Hermit Purple.
Yeah, even in this universe. So, what is the purpose of him grabbing the plug, though? Does he need that to summon Hermit Purple? Like he needs a cord to extend, or what?
I have no idea.
What is the purpose of the cord again? Let me figure that out.
Well, this Hermit Purple looks like lightning, actually.
Yeah, it looks much more angular and pointy. Oh, okay. I missed this. I didn't read this clearly enough. He like throws the cord with Hermit Purple channeled around it in like a trident.
So it's like
That's
like
cool.
a combination of Hermit Purple and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes. Or I guess it sort of has to be because otherwise, what the fuck is happening here? Hamon? It has to be like Hermit Purple with some electricity powers because otherwise you have to invent Hamon. Hamon has to be present in this universe. Or I mean, no? But no, yes, because otherwise where's this electricity coming from? He's just holding the other end of it in his hand. But yeah, no, so here's my justification for the bite marks. The entity in the guardrail dwells within the guardrail. That's what I call it, the entity in the guardrail. But it's a thing that lives in there, and then its home, the guardrail, gets knocked off the cliff by the car. Oh, this is a fucking amazing panel. This right here with Hermit Purple like gathered into a form behind it, which we never saw original Hermit Purple be able to do. Oh, and he throws away the clackers. Like, what the fuck is that?
Oh,
That's ridiculous.
I love this because
Like, where did he get clackers? Like,
like you see him pick him up. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And he just tosses them away.
I know, and they have the little J's on him. It goes, J. Do you know what the JoJo?
Do you know what this is? Have you ever seen footage from?
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. Yes,
DMC?
yes. And he's like, no way, man. He takes the white mop off his head. Like it's making fun of the
Not in a
previous.
million years.
Yeah, not in a million years. It's making fun of the previous incarnation of the character. Like, I'm not gonna fucking fight people with clackers. What do you think I am, stupid? So, anyways, the guardrail gets launched. Okay, so I gotta be performing to this because this can see me.
Yes, that's a point.
So look, the guardrail. the car. The car crashes, hitting the guardrail to the ground. Now, what do we know about rock animals? There's only 3 of them. What do we know about one of them? He can burrow through the ground.
Yes.
So, like, this rock animal has just had its home destroyed, the guardrail that it lived in. It's been broken and fucked up and then smashed into the ground. So that rock animal inside of that guardrail is like, ah, jeez, oh fuck, I'm hurt bad. And he just burrows out into the ground and he begins living in the ground of Morio near the meditation pine. Now, this being separated from the rest of the guardrail has also separated him from all of the dead human flesh, the mass of tissue he had in the rest of the guardrail that allowed him to be a wood chipper to people. So now he can only bite you.
That is a
outlandish.
That is a bit of a stretch.
Outlandish and a bit of a stretch.
But it's the best theory we have for explaining the
I covered my bases though. I feel like I explained everything I could with that. So yeah, that's a big stretch. It's a big hop, skip, and a jump and a leap. But it's the bite marks. That's why the bite marks are happening. Prove me wrong.
I can't. There's literally not enough information given.
None can prove me wrong now. Oh, also, I don't know if I'm ever going to turn around on this, so check out the back. Oh, hang on. Gotta move my hair out the way. Yeah, oh shit. Is it like centered?
Yeah,
Anyway.
center.
I like the back cape part of it. It's like the perfect size. I had to find reference pictures of Josuke from behind to give to the lady who made my cosplay to be like, hey, this is how long the weird back cape thing's supposed to be. Anyways, I was just seeing myself on the thing and I was like, yeah, this turned out good. I'm happy. Anyways, the bite marks are from this motherfucker in the guardrail. It's gotta be. Next topic. Right. So, he like confesses that he's Joseph Joestar. Da-da-da-da-da.
Which is all stuff that we figured out.
Right.
But still, the confirmation is good.
Yeah.
Because it's like we can theory some of this out, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean jack shit unless like
Right.
Araki puts words on a page.
Mm-hmm. Like,
how do you feel about the appearance of Toru?
You know, we both thought Toru was much younger than this. We didn't think he was around already in the 60s, did we? I don't think we predicted that, because the page where he comes out the ground and you see his ass cheeks, it looks like modern city he's walking
Yes,
into.
but the woman who is shown in that in that
traditional garb
cycle, he's wearing like she's wearing like a yukata, or is it?
I think yukata is the one for men. The kimono is for women.
Well, whatever it is. I think
I could have that backwards.
I think both are unisex.
Maybe.
Maybe the yukata is the more ceremonial one, and the kimono is just more generic. I don't know.
I don't know.
Point
either.
is, she's wearing old traditional style clothing.
Yeah. Yes.
So that gives it kind of like a timeless look. So he could have been born at any time.
Exactly. But you know, I think I do like Toru's appearance here, and for one reason. You know how the rock humans this whole time have been like, there are blessings from the earth and they belong to us. You know, like fucking Toru said that. Urban Gorilla said that. He was like, these magical things that come from the planet, they were given to us from the planet, like not you. They're for the rock humans. So Toru clearly knows about like the blessed nature of the ground of the Higashikata estate, since Johnny brought the corpse there and died. Because he's like slyly trying to plant Rokakakas on the property so he can grow the new Rokakaka.
Does this not present a problem for the timeline? Him being here with the Rokakaka plants?
Well, here's what I was thinking is the reason he has them and he's over here planting them on the fucking property. Unless he's digging them up and taking them home, which
right.
I'm not sure. But I'm imagining that he's planting them here on the property because he knows about the blessings from the earth. He knows what a devil's palm is. Because, you know, blessings and curses are two sides of the same thing. Just different expressions of the same energy. Like a thing that sticks to you and follows you. It's like
But they didn't know about the the land creating the new Locacacast until Josefumi and Kira died.
Mm-hmm.
Because wasn't that when they
Well, they knew that they had stolen a branch and that they were growing a Locacacast fruit. Well, I don't know, because this whole
no,
time...
that was shortly before. But my point is, it wasn't in 1941.
Right. So that kind of throws a wrench in what I was thinking and what I was going to say. What I was thinking was, he's a rock human, he knows about the blessings from the earth, he knows that this ground is like cursed/blessed in some kind of way, and he's trying to make happen the thing that will only coincidentally happen through a series of overlapping coincidences in 2011. He's trying to beef up his Locacacast plants and get a sweet, tomatoey looking one. But then I'm not sure, because if it is supposed to be that they learned that that can even happen from the... Those were loud neck pops, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem.
Oh, I can only get one and it's not as loud as that. Good work. You got large air bubbles to pop in between your knuckles and your neck. Anyway, motherfucking... This feels exactly like the podcast over Discord. Anyway, I don't know if that presents a knowledge problem that, like, they shouldn't know that new Locacacast is even a possible recipe to try and make. But otherwise, what's he doing here trying to plant the plants on a blessed ground if that's not what he's going for?
This dude's using the guide. He knows the recipe in advance instead of having to unlock it by acquiring the materials.
Yeah, man. He's got it all laid out for him. He's just missing the one special ingredient. Love. Because he's a cold-hearted rock human. He doesn't truly feel affection for others.
Did you see Johnny?
Yeah, the little shot of Johnny. And I feel like that's like the memory of her riding on Johnny's horse while his grandson Josefumi is like carrying her in a piggyback ride. Alright, next page. But I do feel it's weird that Toru was wearing his same clothes from 2011. It's like a jacket with like teddy bears strapped to it. Wouldn't he be dressed different? Don't know. Anyway, so... Oh, no, wait a minute! No, yeah, he's picking them up and leaving with them. They're in the bucket while he's walking away.
Oh, okay, so the fruits were already here.
That's what Lucy was saying. She was like, I have reason to believe there's a strange fruit growing at the Higashikata orchard. It was in the last chapter. Like, she was like, Radio Gaga incident, but then they got there and they were like looking at the Higashikata estate.
This was way before Jobin, so my
Yeah.
question is, was this dude just coming onto the property and growing fruits here in secret and just coming back and picking them up?
Good question, because I wonder if he has like plant development knowledge like Mamazuku. Like he's growing it around other plants. Like the soil is obviously nutrient rich here.
Because they didn't have an ally in the Higashikatas at this point in history, to my knowledge.
Yeah, no, I don't think they did. And if they did, it would be some character we've never met and never heard of, so it wouldn't even mean anything to us.
But then we got Araki going into his traditional, well, I say traditional, but like really it originates with Steel Ball Run, but like it's the general wrap up of everything. So we got the end to Lucy Steele's story.
Dies of lung cancer. Never got to go back to Japan.
We got
Very sad.
Joseph going to America.
Oh yeah, the affairs of the world changed, and then he gets stuck in America. He can't return to S City until whatever the fuck. Joseph Joestars works at Lucy's assistant. 1952, Susie Q. His daughter's name is Holly. Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty cool and all. Because then it's like, oh, we finally get, you know, because we saw that in like chapter 5 or whatever when he goes upstairs.
And then implied he later goes back to Japan.
Oh yeah.
And fucks Kiyomi.
I feel like shouldn't that happen? Although it says to us,
It should say in the wrap up, shouldn't it?
Taken over by the 4th generation Norisuke in 93 and gains...
Oh hey, Yotsuyu Yagiyama mentioned by name.
Oh yeah, okay, so I was gonna earlier, I think this is what I was remembering, but I had the immediacy of I Am a Rock was drawn on the screen in front of us. But yeah, they fucking mention him and draw him.
Do you want to do me a favor and check the time on that?
Yeah, sure. It's 4 minutes, 34
Got
seconds. But we're moving through the chapter at a pretty good clip. So modernist architectural design. Oh, and then we're already here. What's with the... When do we get the one about the...
Oh, do you have these out of order?
No, when do we get the one about the fucking sandal?
No, I think that's later. I think this is after this.
Well, I just went to the end. Where's the...
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so now you can go back.
I was looking for a square text box, so I thought it would be more narration, but it was Yasuo's lines. That is a nice touch, though, that they have Kiyomi drop her phone, and that's... Yasuo's like, oh, here you go. And in the 1 second she was holding it, she like... And that's how we know so much about her. That's cool. You know, I wish Yasuo was in more of the story. You know, like, when you think about it. I mean, like, she is in a lot of the story, but it's like... I wish the time that wish...
She's not...
Cut this out. Stuttering.
She's not doing much.
Yeah, I wish the time, the screen time that Yasuo got was more impactful and was spent better. And also I wish they hadn't spent so much of the part separated.
Do you know what I remember most about Yasuo in this part?
Uh-huh.
Is her sneaking around on the Gashika estate, telling Josuke that the fruits... that she thinks the fruit's there, and he's like, nah, you're crazy, it's at the hospital.
Yeah. Bro, when I make that...
And getting her arm blown off.
Yeah. Bro, when I make that Jojolian RPG Maker game one day, that's gonna be the split point between, like, or you can play the stupid canon timeline, the way things actually went, or you can play the fucking sick timeline. And it's gonna be that moment where Josuke's... I have to kneel so they can see my face. Josuke's standing there and Yasuo is like, I'm telling you, the branch isn't here. And he looks at Mamazuku. Mamazuku's like, that bitch crazy. And he's like, sorry, Yasuo, I got a better friend who knows more about stuff. In that moment, you're gonna be able to go down to the other dialogue option, which is like, really? Okay, let's investigate that first.
And Mamazuku's like, nah, you stupid. Let me go die.
Yeah, no, and then he goes off and dies on his own. So then Josuke is like, my friend, my partner, my buddy, my pal, my dude, now I have to finish this adventure on my own? No, and it's like a heightening of the stakes, as opposed to like, I'm gonna die and tell you about Spin, even though I have no reason to know what that is.
Oh shit, I just realized, if Mamazuku dies on his own, does Josuke never find out about the Spin? And never Go Beyond?
I think he should unlock something else. I kind of think Go Beyond is a little,
You should unlock Bites the Dust instead.
Oh, you're speaking my language now. I really want... Because you know how Part 8, they set up... Why am I saying this to you, viewer, as if you've heard this for the first time? I've been saying this the whole time. Part 8, they set up such a specific sequence of events, and like, this thing causes that thing, and here's where every character is leading up to the harvest, and they move around and they interact, and like... We set up such a detailed timeline. Why didn't we go back and play around in it at all? Why didn't we witness any sort of alternate unfoldings of events?
He implemented a timer in a part that didn't end up needing it at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, defied it at various points.
I just gotta wait for that polished Jojolian, the animated
Just wait
shit.
for the superior version.
Yeah. You fucking anime-only watchers are funny. You're a lucky bunch. You get the good one straight off the bat. You don't gotta read the manga and go like, this is good,
yeah,
but like, huh?
But unfortunately for them, like, they also have to deal with the fucking idiot manga readers who, like, go, I can't wait for blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like, dude,
I was gonna read that. Gosh. In that exact voice. Oh hey, we got 20 seconds. You want to close off this segment?
nah.
Do you think? Okay. I shouldn't put that there. If I edit this, I'm gonna keep in all of the stopping and starting because I think it's funny. Are we gonna? Okay. What I'm asking is, should we make those funny, assuming that we'll keep them in? Because I think it's funny. Because we've told them, hey, it's going to stop and start, sorry, at the beginning. And then I'm like, hey, do you want to wrap this up? I gotta shut it off in 20 seconds. And you're like, no. And then it just cuts to now. Alright, so as you were saying?
You were saying.
I was? Oh god, oh no, what was I saying? Oh my god, dude, I had such a hard time putting this on, I just remembered there's a fucking zipper at the side. Like I was pulling it on over my head, like in the, oh god, I wish I was at home, because then I would, and we'd spend 5 minutes waiting for me to page all the way back to the Yotsuyu Yagiyama arc. Yes, that's right, twice in one episode, ring the bell. That doesn't make a sound.
No, it doesn't, it just turns the fan off.
Ringing the bell, twice in one episode. I would page all the way back to Norisuke Higashikata and the garden, and I would go to the one of Josuke putting on the thing over his head, because I put it on exactly like that, like thinking that's what you're supposed to do, just straight over your head, and you're like, and then your head pops through. So I did the exact thing from that panel, not realizing I've got a fucking zipper, but you know, I put it on the in-universe way. I bet he doesn't have a zipper. Anyway, I think the thing I was saying was like, why didn't we play around in the timeline? Like we built such a detailed timeline of where each character is and when. Why didn't we time travel at all?
That's what I thought we were gonna do when the flashback turned out to be bullshit.
It doesn't seem like
the flash forward.
It didn't seem like a part at all that was gonna have time travel until you started doing the countdown to the harvest and the flash forward and the this and the that and all the other things. Then it suddenly seemed like, oh shit, what are we gonna... Because this is a complicated situation.
Well, even
if our heroes fail the first time, are we going to see another shot at it? Like, why are you setting up such a detailed timeline?
Even when you start doing like the in media res stuff, it's like, no, that's still not an excuse to put time travel into your story. But when your in media res doesn't line up with actual events, that's when you need to start playing with the timeline.
I thought it was a sort of hook for like, because imagine Chapter 83, the flash forward, and you get that Tsurugi dragging the body bag shot. And then, like, Chapter 108, we're all standing out in front of the house, and the house is destroyed. Like, the flashback isn't coming to pass, and you're reading it like, what's going on here? And then we do the time travel, we do the time warp again. And chapter like
when we
120, you see the flashback. So it was actually a hook for something much later. Like you were misled. You thought it was going to pay off here, but it paid off here. But instead it paid off nowhere.
And when we talked about 108, we discussed how like you could make a flash forward that actually is totally in line with the actual events without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
You know. Have cards scattered all over the ground. Have somebody slumped and bloody in the dark in a hallway. Don't tell anybody who. Then you show Norisuke. Well, I guess he wouldn't be in a body bag at this point, but you'd show him like lying on the floor.
Right. Yes. Bleeding. Definitely bleeding. Maybe not completely dead. Hey, since Norisuke, they're going to take him to the hospital and fucking heal him and all this shit. Apparently he's not dead, but Jobin is. He's been dead for longer. I'm still mad about it. Is he going to have lost his hand?
Doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter now, but I meant like my concept of Norisuke the character, post-Jojolian, post the events of the story. Does he have a hook hand? Because he went, like, his neck exploded, and he brought his hand up next to it, and it heated up, and it, like...
What if he got a sick robot hand, like Joseph?
Like Stroheim, a sweet Nazi engineering robot hand.
Well, also Joseph.
Yeah.
Old Joseph, remember?
Yes, true. Well, I mean, young Joseph for that 1 second at the end of part 2.
Man, if he shows up in part 9, I mean, like, obviously not the concept that I mentioned for it being, like, far future post-apocalypse JoJo, but, like, a different... Like, if it's a more immediate follow-up to JoJolion and like Norisuke shows up in part 9, that'd be cool. If like he had like the one robot hand or something.
I feel like I do actually want to see that. I want to see more of alternate universe Joseph Joestar. Because our boy, Joseph, in the original world, his whole thing was that he had this incredible supernatural ability to cheat death every single time. Like he would barely make it out by the skin of his teeth. The plane crash when he was a kid. Various things in between then and the fight with cars. Against Dio, he was drained of all his blood for a few minutes.
I feel like this part...
managed to come back. Slitting his wrist in the pond with Josuke. You know, like he keeps coming close to oblivion.
This part
and
robbed
barely
us.
escaping.
This part robbed us of all that Joseph Joestar stuff. His entire story is told in those square boxes.
Yeah, yes it is. We don't get any sort of, we only see him for that one moment. I wouldn't even be mad if Part 9 was about Joseph Joestar, like in the 1960s.
That's what I was thinking, but there's
wouldn't even be
nothing.
mad.
There's nothing left to discuss.
Right. Yeah. God, I wish he had steel balls in those fucking pockets. I wish. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. We don't know. He didn't open them.
You know what?
He didn't open them and take out a grilled cheese sandwich.
You know what? We can theorize whatever we want
Wishful
until
thinking.
Iraqi writes words on a page. That's that's the positive side of that. It's like yeah, nothing's canon until he puts it on a page, but it's like also nothing's not canon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's why I've always had the stance of like, well, instead of theorizing, instead of picking apart JoJo and being like, well, this doesn't work, that doesn't make sense, this is stupid, how could that be possible? Instead, go around and be like, how could that be possible? And then really like theorize and try to figure it out. I feel like it's more fun to try and plug up the holes of a story using your imagination rather than like just rip them wider and be like, see, the story's bad. You know, like focus your energy positively. So that is a thing, like you have still the freedom to theorize. And as long as you didn't directly contradict it, you know. But right, you were saying nothing's canon until Araki writes it on a page. Or, now, nothing's canon until we see it illustrated in the spin-off manga. And I use canon loosely, because obviously it's like it's a thing produced by the JoJo company, Lucky Land, Araki company, The Hand.
Yeah.
So it's under that banner. It wasn't written directly by him, but I assume he's going to have some level of involvement in it. But even if not, like the beauty of the spin-off thing...
I imagine the spin-off will be more canon than Purple Haze Feedback.
Yeah, I'm thinking it'll probably be like... It's not quite, hey, go ahead and write a light novel for me, and then just show me what you got when you're done and I'll draw illustrations. I don't think it's going to be quite there, but I also don't think it's going to be Araki like, okay, here's what I want to happen. I think it'll be sort of in between. It'll be a level
I think he's going to get like some leeway. Mm-hmm. Like maybe Araki will put like a rough outline of like what needs to happen with each of these characters. Mm-hmm. But he'll have like freedom to do mostly his own thing.
Execute on that in whatever way he feels is best. But the thing that I think is the beauty of having a spin-off manga is that, like, finally there is an avenue to revisit these worlds from parts that are over. You know, like, remember what I was talking about either last month or the month before, where I was like, a story is a portal to another world, and the portal opens right as the story is getting interesting. And you get to stick your head in and you look around at the world, and then as soon as the events of the story wrap up, like as soon as it stops being interesting, the portal closes shut. So you got to get your head out of there. It's like your time to look around the world and take it in and experience it and live in it is over. Get the fuck out.
And it's interesting additionally because the announcement...
the spin-off, you just get to open it one more time.
And it's interesting additionally because the announcement for the spin-off said that the spin-off would focus on Josuke and Whole Horse.
Right.
Which is the weirdest pairing, and I really want to see what that's about.
Characters who never got to interact in their original parts. They're from totally other... Sorry, I was looking at somebody out the window. They're from totally other parts and also totally other decades and parts of the world.
It's like we know Whole Horse is down for the team-ups.
Mm-hmm. No, this is horrible. This is the worst thing that could ever possibly happen, that Whole Horse is getting a spin-off manga. You know why? Blood Sun Vendetta is now obsolete. We can't imagine that Whole Horse literally went on to go do that because we're going to show what else he did.
Well, no, because Blood Sun Vendetta takes place in... We don't know when the spin-off takes place.
Okay.
So, Blood Sun Vendetta takes place, I believe, in 2011?
Okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of time between 1987 and then.
Like, Whole Horse is an old man.
Right, okay.
But
we still haven't seen his damn face.
No. Let's
yeah, sorry, I was thinking about Blood Sun Vendetta for a second now. I really like it. We should watch more of that when it comes out. eventually, one of these
Oh,
days.
you want to do like watch parties?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Because like the podcast would start and you'd be like, hey, did you watch the thing? And I'd be like, no. Okay, well then we're having a watch party. Why don't we just default to having one, you know? Alright, so, although like, okay, last thing about the spin-off. Even if the spin-off is just the Josuke and Whole Horse story, because I heard that and I assumed it was going to be like the Spoke Rohan, where it's like we're getting like maybe a chapter of that, chapter of this. But if it's just the Josuke and Whole Horse story, cool, I'm fine with that too. But I was imagining it would be sort of a thing where we like check up on various people. Ooh, the
Oh, that's your
telephone.
phone.
No, it's not. What's vibrating? Someone's going. Zzz.
This is so strange. Is it back here? Nope. It stopped. Okay. Well,
What in the hell?
that was weird.
Hang on a second. My mom just texted me like, "Hey, did you get there?" And I'm gonna be like, "Yes, I'm wearing the outfit." All right, cool. That was kind of a waste of footage time there.
Yeah, let's continue the.
Wait. I'm going crazy. I thought I heard it again.
No.
Right. So so
You were saying about the spin-off.
cut some of that. That was kind of rambly, and I didn't really make a point. Or future Zach, cut some of that. The beauty of the spin-off is that we get to revisit these worlds that we thought the portal was permanently closed on. We were never going to get to see like what Josuke is up to after, well, unless you read. There's just weird sounds coming from through the walls. We just gotta talk over them and ignore them. It's
Okay.
somebody else's phone that's vibrating. But no, you get to, take another look at a thing that you thought you'd never get any more content in that setting with those characters in that world. So I think it's awesome we're getting spin-off content. We got 7 minutes. I feel like I should just stop and restart it right now because there's a bunch of time.
I feel like we can keep going.
Okay, cool. Then cut that too. Fuck it, cut the whole thing. Don't put any of this in. Or this.
Do you want to do the next page?
No, because I have stuff I want to say about this page.
Okay.
This page is great because this whole time we've been doing this Josephumi story. It's a Joseph Joestar story, and as much as I like that, as much as that was good content, finally we're back to the guy I'm dressed like. We're back to my boy. So every page from here on out is like important content. This is how we view the ending. So they go to visit the hospital, and Yasuo is like,
Oh yeah,
Josuke.
here's where you checked off the Mamazuku Still Dead update.
Yeah, we got a Mamazuku is still dead update.
With a bonus, Kei Nijimura
Yeah.
is still dead update.
Well, at least it was nice of him to like get them killed at the hospital. I'm sure the hospital knows what to do with dead bodies. That'd be rude if you got them killed like in the middle of the street or like at an elementary school.
Very inconsiderate.
Yeah, super inconsiderate. At least he got them killed somewhere with a crematorium, am I right? So yeah, he looks over in that panel right there, he's thinking, damn, I shouldn't have smashed all those fucking vials and cut all those fucking fruits up. Shouldn't have gotten Mamazuku to destroy all of the fruits with his...
Oh yeah, he's gonna have like a hell of a conversation with his mom if she ever wakes up from her coma.
Yeah.
It's like, so
Also, we never got to see Holly's stand.
so bad news. You know the fruits I was trying to get so that we could fix you up. Yeah, it turns out those are all gone. Oh, but there's more bad news. Also,
Yeah, that's not the worst news.
Also, the branch we used to grow them on is gone. It no longer exists in this world. So I probably got to go to like another island and go find more fruits. And they're not going to be the good ones.
They're not even going to be the good ones.
They're going to be the real shit ones where like part of you is going to fall off and become rock.
And in addition, I actually have even more bad news.
Also,
I got my sister killed.
Also, there's further bad news.
Your daughter is dead. Sorry, my bad. God, I can't believe, like, why didn't nobody... do you think she wasn't meant to be his sister?
Is there good news?
Just kidding.
Is there any good news? Is there any good news?
She would call him Yoshikage. But, like, honestly, do you think that the decision to have Kei Nijimura be Kira's sister is like a post hoc adjustment?
It feels underutilized at best.
Right. It feels sort of crowbarred in, and it feels like in his envisioning of the story, he didn't really think of Kira having a sister. Oh. What was that? Oh god, my battery. Oh god, no. Oh. Okay. Oop. Shit. Recording starts. You can see my mouth move, and you can hear it here, and you can hear it there. Synced up. Okay, and then... Sorry. No, this is good. You can see the both of us. This is perfectly good. Okay. Hi. Welcome back to the podcast. The battery in the camera died, so we had to sit around for an hour eating tacos, waiting for it to be fucking charged again. So where were we?
You were talking about Kei Nijimura and how her being Kira's sister was underutilized in the story.
Right. And so I'm wondering, like, was that always the intention with her? For it to be revealed, oh, that's actually Kira's sister. She's in the house because she's looking for him. Because right at the beginning, before the Born This Way fight, they introduced Kei Nijimura as, like, you know, this person who, like, is moving in the shadows. She tells Yasuo, fuck off, don't ever come to this house again. And then turns around. Like, she seems to be on her own team. What's going on with the maid? And then as soon as, like, the fight ends and she's like, no, he was my brother, I was looking for him.
Oh yeah, by the way, Honeydew's not visible right now.
Oh, sweet Christ. Okay, well, alright. Anyway, it seems like her personality is inconsistent and, like, totally changes as soon as Josuke defeats her. And I'm wondering, like, was that always the intention for her character? Because it seems like somebody who was meant for this got sort of morphed and turned, but then it didn't really... I don't know.
Kei Nijimura as a Kira seems to be like a product of the period that Jojolion was going through at the time, where it's like the Higashikata family is mad sus.
Yeah.
Right?
Which we didn't get past until, like, Yotsuyu Yagiyama.
But, like, before Jobin really entered the picture,
right?
We thought we'd be dealing with this whole family of antagonists, and, like, so the way she was set up is consistent with, like, her, oh yeah, thanks for that.
Yep, audio's gonna be good now.
You know what?
You're welcome.
Oh, you know what? Window,
damn. I'll remind you where you were. The way she was set up as a character.
Right, the way she was set up as a character is consistent with her role, basically, in that narrative, if that makes sense. Like, her role in this conflict where we're meant to think that the Higashikata family are the antagonists. But it's like when we moved past that, it seems like Araki dropped her being, like, it's never brought up again.
Yeah.
And I think that's the actual problem. I think, like, she was always meant to be Kira's sister, but once we move past the initial suspicion of the Higashikata family, it's not brought up again. It feels like more of an Araki forgot rather than something that was added last minute.
Or maybe just, you know, Araki didn't use all the pieces on the chessboard to their fullest. You know? Maybe he didn't forget. It's just plans change and things fall by the wayside, you know. Remember when we were talking about the author's note that he left in, like, volume 25?
Yeah.
Where it said, you know, I want to draw everything. I want to draw a million things, but I am forced to cut them due to time and story progression. So, like, I want to see all that, man. Like, what do you mean? What'd you cut? Because, like...
It'd have to be a significant amount that got cut for her to, like, for her character to have been affected that much, though.
It must be a case of, like, well, okay, I don't want to use her in this next arc. I was gonna, but now I have different plans for this. So I'll put her by the wayside. We'll do that thing where she comes back later. And then this thing leads to another thing which leads to something else. And then the whole idea of like, I was going to do this type of story arc next is no longer compatible with where we're at.
Yeah,
I think
she doesn't
he gets,
have a place to fit into the story.
I think Araki gets like carried away once he gets an idea and he's like, oh, I want to keep exploring that, let's go. And then in the process of exploring that, another idea will be found, and then we'll start exploring that. But we never we never stop to think about what kind of path we have taken.
When you mention it like that, it puts a lot of perspective into like other cases of what is commonly referred to as Araki forgot.
Right.
Like,
it's really just him getting excited about a new thing and giving up on whatever it was he had previously planned.
Like how Jotaro never uses Star Finger again after the first couple of times we see it, or how...
Can we get a real Araki forgot? A real no bones about it, no argument, no discussion, no disagreement? He legitimately forgot?
Maybe like Wamu's shadow attack thing, where he automatically attacks anybody standing in his shadow.
I was going to say the part where Zeppeli says he has no children, and then in the next part we meet Caesar. Because that's the only part...
You want to talk about like...
It's the only part in all of JoJo where he has said, oh yeah, I made a mistake there, I'm sorry. Like he issued an apology in the volume release.
Well, you want to talk about part spanning Araki forgots. You want to talk about how Erina and the baby, Lisa, sailed away in the coffin that Dio used to get to the bottom of the ocean somehow.
And the thing is, though, I really, really wish you had seen these videos, the same ones that I have, so we could discuss them in detail. It's called the Debunking Araki Forgot series. I told you about this a long, long time ago, but I haven't been hammering it in like, go watch this on your own, so I'm not like, you didn't complete your summer homework. Like, I didn't assign it properly.
I would have watched them like if I had remembered.
Right, but you...
forgot.
I see there. No, but in these videos, this guy Hamon Beat, who is like the new guy that I have started liking for JoJo analysis, because now I hate Aeon Star. I wanna actually bring up Aeon Star. He made a video like, oh, here's what I'd like to see in part 9. Let me tell you about this. I want you to like, at any part of this that you think is cringe and stupid and should obviously not happen in JoJo, just go ahead and laugh. Make that known. Alright? So he was like, here's 9 things I want to see in part 9. Number 1, the JoJo should be some kind of reference to Jolene and Giorno. It's like, okay, yeah, I vibe with that. I get it. You've parodied, or you've sort of adapted Jonathan and Joseph and Jotaro and Josuke. Let's get Giorno and Jolene in there. So I agree with that. And then he goes on to say, but it should be not only that it's referencing Giorno and Jolene, there should be like twins, and they're our JoJo protagonists.
Well,
one of them's Giorno and one of them's Jolene.
That's a popular thing to like.
And also, I want
like it's another way to get the JoJo.
Right.
Because like now you only need one of their names to have one.
He
was
doing that exact thing. He was being cute about it.
That's fine. That's fine. Carry on.
Next thing. I want these 2 new JoJos, these twins, this twin boy and girl, to be the children of Josuke and Yasuo. And I want Josuke and Yasuo to be, like, still in the story in a big way. And, like, you know, the old Joseph figures to these new kids going on their adventure. And I think that JoJo should go to space. He's like... So why don't we do Joestar's Among the Stars? You know, we've gone almost to space before at the end of part 6. Why don't we go to space this time? Why don't we do it big? We end on like a galactic scale.
Because Araki doesn't write those kinds of stories.
I know, it's like every single one of those suggestions I think is like terrible, and I don't want it to happen.
This gives me the same visceral reaction to like anybody who suggests like, hey, the next JoJo part should be sci-fi.
It should be about Shizuka Joestar in space.
You're missing the point.
Yeah. No, sci-fi is like... JoJo has never done speculative future fiction.
JoJo is great because the magic of the world is something that is kept secret from the eyes of the world, and other than that, the world functions basically the same as our own. Mm-hmm. But like when you start entering into the realm of speculative fiction, or like putting other fantasy elements that are widely known, then it takes away from the charm.
You lose a little bit of the JoJo-ness. You lose a little bit of what makes the series. We've never, ever in JoJo progressed past modern day. The story always starts in the past.
Okay, well, I have to correct you on that.
Okay.
Because there have been JoJo parts that have been set briefly into the future, but it's never like, he never brings in, like, technology that doesn't already exist.
Right, and even, like, for example, both Stone Ocean and JoJolion are set in 2011, but in JoJolion, people got iPhones. So it's like he still didn't...
He updated the technology.
The Stone Ocean wasn't really, like, in the future. There wasn't, like, oh, this is set in 2011, so therefore... You know, it was like, oh, this is set in 2011, basically the modern day. You know, he was still having people, like, you know...
Araki doesn't write speculatively.
Yeah.
He uses what he knows.
Both times we have gone up to the present day in JoJo, we gotta go back. Like, part 6, we get to the near future, like the modern day setting, and then that's it. That's our final destination.
Imagine if he wrote, like, a part in 1980 that was set in, like, the 2000s.
Yeah.
Everybody would still be using landlines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a... Sure, he has said it a few years in the near future, but he's still writing it as though it's the modern world with the sensibilities of today. He's not thinking about, like, what are people going to be like in the future, you know? He's in love with the world. He thinks it's very interesting, and there's so many, like, weird things you don't know about that he'd love to tell you about through his manga.
Yeah, that's why he like brings up all these all this random esoteric shit.
Yeah, because
he goes into great detail about
learning about the world, weird esoteric knowledge that other people wouldn't care to learn, that they don't think it's interesting. So all these weird little quirks of the world, and, like, for example, like the rods from part 6, like the cryptids, like he loves weird, undiscovered, like maybe urban legends.
That's been debunked since, but it's still great.
But it's fun to think about. And it's like, that element of it being fun to think about is enough for him to bring it into his story and make it real.
The fact that smartphones don't appear in part 6 doesn't pull me out of the story.
Yeah,
but if there was, like, a different, like, futuristic technology that, like, doesn't exist now, that might pull me back. That might pull me out.
Right, like everybody's talking to each other on the Glooglezorf, and you're like, God, this is so stupid. Why did you think Glooglezorfs were going to catch on? Why do you think we were going to make those? But he doesn't, you know? He just gives it like a modern feeling. My point is, we never progressed past that. That's always a brick wall that we hit. Great, JoJo started in the past and it met up with the present. So we're done.
Which is also why I think JoJo Lands could work as a post-apocalyptic series, because that doesn't require you to progress technologically.
Right. In fact, that's almost a regression.
All you need to do is say the apocalypse happened, like, maybe a year or two from now. And just the technology level now is where it was before, like where the technology is still working, and everywhere else it's just shit.
Right. I wonder if, because, you know, it must have been crazy for people in 2011 for JoJolion to begin, not only and immediately reference the Tohoku earthquakes that happened, like, just a couple months ago. Like, it was topical, it was modern. But to be set in the year that you're reading it, I wonder if Part 9 is going to start it and be like, the year is 2022. You know, like, holy shit.
Well, I mean, it being a post-apocalyptic part now,
I know, that could work.
Would be pretty on the nose, wouldn't it?
No, but it would be on the nose in a way where you're like, oh damn, this could be our near future. Like, I don't doubt it, Araki-san. But, fuck, what were we talking about that got us all the way here? It's him getting interested in random stuff. Hamon beat, hang on, and then I said Aeon Star.
We were ridiculing Aeon Star.
Riffing on him. But I mean, I don't even, you know, he's not a bad guy. I just told him he was stupid on Twitter and he blocked me, so now I have to hold a hate torch for him forever. Is that even a good bit, though, or should I just drop the torch? Whatever, so Hamon Beat is cool, and he's the guy who made Debunking Araki Forgot! Yes, back on track.
There we go.
Okay, so in these videos, he goes over stuff from parts 1 through all of them by now. He hasn't done the one for 8 yet, because 8 just finished.
How's our time going?
We got 6 minutes, so let me say
cool.
a little bit of stuff about this, and then we'll restart the recording there. But, oh, excuse me. Look at me not talking through the burp for once. So, like part 1, he'll go through like the Erina coffin thing, and a few others, and the idea. This goes back to. Keep losing my train of thought. Right. Okay, so this goes back to when I was gesturing at this thing and I was saying you gotta plug the holes up in your story with your imagination. That's more fun than poking holes.
That's where I thought you were going with it. It's part of the whole, like you have to, you have to like mentally like.
You gotta engage with the text.
Explain like because.
So, for example,
because like he's not going to address these problems.
They're too specific, and he doesn't feel the need to address them. He doesn't think of them as problems, Araki. So this guy, Hamon Beat, like he'll bring up Erina in the coffin, and then he'll really make an amazing case for why the thing you thought was an Araki forgot is actually just totally natural to be in the story. For example, Erina coffin. He's like, why is it that the coffin that Erina escaped in is the one that Dio is in at the bottom of the ocean? If there's no 2 coffins, how is it that it's here and then it's at the bottom of the ocean and then they have to pick it up later? Like when they rescued Erina, what the hell? So the answer to that is this at-sea rescue where Erina is floating at sea in a coffin that just happens to be buoyant. This rescue definitely would have taken place at daytime in a time period such as 1898 without like electric lights. So this rescue must have taken place at daytime, a time which Dio cannot come out of the coffin. So there would have been no way for him to like, oh sweet, they're rescuing Erina, now's my chance. It's not your chance, motherfucker, it's daytime. So unfortunately, Dio was forced to just bide his time and stay in the bottom of the coffin there. And then other people are like, how did he get in there if,
we see the coffin that he comes out of, that he gets pulled up by the fishermen, and it's a full coffin. It's not like it's got the lid.
Yeah, it's got a little removable fake.
It's the internal coffin.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So people are like, how did Dio get inside of that second chamber if Erina's already sitting right here? Don't you need to pick her up and move her to get into that secret compartment?
I guess you could take the internal coffin out on the boat.
But the thing is, if Dio is smart enough to build a coffin that has like a secret compartment in it, and that has a giant red jewel that can fire out with the force of a bullet. You remember that?
I don't remember.
The red jewel fires out and it kills one of the guys who brings up the coffin from the depths. And then the next time we see it, the coffin's just open.
That's the first time a giant red jewel has killed someone.
Yeah, yes. But anyway, if he can build a coffin that can shoot out a jewel with the force of a bullet for self-defense purposes, I'm sure he has a way to secretly get in and out of that underneath compartment without, like opening the real lid. So anyways, if you think about it as like this is a special trick coffin that Dio designed to hide in, then it makes a little bit more sense. But anyway, he does that with like everything from every part. And better than I just did it.
I forget if she gets like rescued by other boats.
A boat, yeah.
Okay.
She gets rescued off the coast of something.
Okay. Because I thought she went all the way to shore with it, and it's like, no, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
That coffin's got to be in the middle of the ocean when it gets found.
But anyway, this series is amazing, and he goes over such things as, like, he'll give a different reasoning or explanation for each of them. He's not every single one he's trying to just like, well, if you think about it really hard, for some of them, considering Josuke grabbing the phone and breaking it and then grabbing the phone again, he's like, sometimes he's really petty, this guy, Hamon Beat. He's like, I seriously don't understand how people can think that this is an Araki forgot, when clearly this is a joke scene about how Josuke had the opportunity to grab a new phone so quick that he didn't even need to fix the previous one. I can't believe, like, the whole point is that it's funny he didn't fix the phone. Why do you guys think this is a plot hole? So he'll make fun of you for thinking it's a plot hole, but he does give, like, a pretty justified explanation for all of these things.
Well, also Josuke's kind of stupid.
He's not that smart. Yeah, he's the son of Joseph.
It used to bother me, but like now that we've gotten like all these other JoJos and we've gotten all this distance from it, Josuke's kind of stupid.
He is. He's a little bit unintelligent there.
So Giorno wouldn't have grabbed a second phone.
No, 100%. He would have, like, go to the experience, and he would have, like, just made a new phone out of vines or some shit. I don't know, man.
Well, I mean, I think his works the other way, but You know, if he had the same stand.
Oh, he was going to turn a phone into vines. Gotcha. The vines can't become phone. The phone must become vines. Truly, I'm exhibiting a lack of understanding of gold experience.
But if he had Crazy Diamond, he would have fixed the phone.
Yeah, 100%. Giorno is a much more focused, straightforward character. If you did that joke with Giorno, it wouldn't work as well. So yeah. But anyways, these debunking Iraqi Forgot videos are really great, actually. You should check them out. In the Part 7 one, he goes over who shot Johnny. And it's like, do you even remember who shot Johnny? That arc was a mess. Like, it was hard to understand. And at the end of it...
Everyone
Yeah,
shot Johnny.
at the
Even
end of
Johnny
it-
shot Johnny.
At the end of it, he summarizes it so cleanly. He's like, so, in the end, who shot Johnny? Well, it was Diego. Diego shot Johnny and then was moved to the alternate universe to think he shot Huecapipo. Then alternate Huecapipo was moved here to think he shot Johnny, but he actually shot alternate. And it's like, holy shit. Anyway, this is just a guy who's able to break down JoJo
It sounds like
sensibly and give it to you and be like, here, look, it makes sense.
This sounds like the Zapruder film. Just covering the...
There's
the
another shooter on the
assassination-
grassy knoll.
Covering the assassination of JFK.
Oh boy.
It's like, who shot Johnny Joestar? Well,
shot
well,
Johnny
you can
Joestar?
see at this panel.
And what if they called frames panels? In this panel, you can see there's some great action going on here. As the president tries to shield himself from bullets.
But
That's my favorite panel of the Zapruder film.
we can't explain the second hole here without realizing that there must have been a second shooter.
Second shooter. Obviously, somebody Valentine pulled in from the alternate universe. What if that was canon to real life? That Valentine orchestrated the assassination of John F. Kennedy? And like the reason we never found the other shooters is because he D4C'd them back into their original timelines afterwards. Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. But yeah, so debunking Iraqi Forgot, those videos are good. Can't wait for the one on Part 8. Hamon beat his base. Fuck Aeon Star. Kei Nijimura wasn't used enough. Let's keep going.
I like how you're breaking it down with your sick dance moves while you're listing all this off.
Exactly, man. I gotta move to talk. I was just talking with a guy at work yesterday, and he was like, everything you say, you always use your hands to talk. Like, there's no time where you're not using them. And I'm like, I know, because I feel like I can't get my point across. Like, if I don't remember the name of something, like the thing that we use to spray the dishes, I'll be like, oh yeah, you can use the and he will know what I'm trying to say, the person I'm communicating to. Because I'm making a gesture and I'm making a sound. It's kind of like using emojis. Because instead of describing to you with words, I'm just giving you a picture of what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, the hand movements and the sound effects are all in service of doing that whole picture is worth 1,000 words thing.
Here's this
Yeah.
first panel on the right.
And you know, now that I look at it, the way that he's sort of like looking off to the side, I feel like the way they drew him saying this, I kind of see it from your perspective now. That might be his
This
Polnareff
feels
and Jotaro gathering arrows.
this feels like spin-off bait.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, would you really relegate that to a spin-off if that was like the whole point of the journey?
Oh, dude, I would totally read about Josuke gathering, like searching for fruits in like the Philippines or whatever.
I think I would too, actually, now that you mention it. But I mean, like, why would you, as the author, delegate that to be explored in a spin-off? Like, that was the whole point of the story, getting the fruit for Holly.
Well, it's like I find a spin-off of JoJolion much more likely than like Part 9 being a sequel.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's probably accurate. I really hope we get a spin-off, though. I would hate for this to be the last we ever see of these characters. Hey, you know, Josuke lived. He lived through the whole part.
He did.
Up top. Like 20 chapters ago, we weren't sure. Remember when we were talking about, like, the story could either end with him and Yasuo going into the sunset, or it ends with, like, him tragically dying.
The problem with him dying is like how these always work is like you have to have somebody to carry on the bloodline, and
Right.
since we know Part 9 is happening,
But
it's
the
like-
whole side of the Higashikata family tree that's descended from Johnny, like, we could just hop to any one of their kids for the next part.
yeah, except the two kids who were descended from Johnny
Oh,
are Josuke.
whoops.
Oops.
Whoops. Yeah, they're Josuke and Kei.
Yeah.
Rip. Bummer. So yeah, then this is what we were talking about earlier. Kiyomi Kujo just sort of shows up. Like, looking exactly the same as she did in the flashback. And also, have we forgotten that she's like a terrible mother and a bad person who we do not root for and we are not happy to see right now? Like, she knew Josefumi was drowning and hid behind a rock panicking.
I guess Araki forgot, unless he wants us to feel nothing.
Am I supposed to like this woman? Am I supposed to care? Because, like, you let this kid drown. Like, you knew he was drowning and you were just afraid to try and help him. You were just gonna let it happen.
This feels unearned.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, if you're going to bring back a character into the story, here's how I would have done it, alright? So, like, forget Kiyomi, right? We skip ahead to the end. And instead of Josuke joining the Higashikatas for cake or whatever, Josuke realizes, man, I gotta go. I'm hunted by the police right now. So he takes off around a corner and then he runs into Carrera.
Woohoo! Yay, finally. I've been waiting for that to happen.
And they just walk off into the sunset.
Really?
I know you want him to be with Best Girl.
I do, but then also, like, how can Carrera come back into the story if not for that? You know, if not for, like, the last minute, like, you know, Yasuo is probably not... No, you wouldn't do that at this point.
I feel like Josuke is the kind of guy who would like not want to drag Yasuo into this with him.
Yasuo is not deserving of you know, being around your calamitous ass all the time. But I don't know that would be...
I feel like it would be a better cameo than fucking Kiyomi, which does nothing for anybody.
It certainly is not doing anything for me. I don't like this woman. But I feel like you would have had to have focused much more on the whole, like, criminal on the run from the cops aspect if you were going to do that Carrera ending. We didn't get nearly enough.
No, that kind of got dropped.
Yeah, kind of got super dropped. Which sucks because I feel like the best fights in any JoJo part are when the characters have to contend with each other and each other's stands, but also the normal society around them. Like, for example, in the prison, Jolene is fighting Musha Mueller, Foo Fighters. No,
Jailhouse Lock.
No, that's... yes, no, that's correct. Marilyn Manson is what I was thinking of. Marilyn Manson.
Oh, okay.
Debt collector. I said Musha Mueller, but that's correct. She is Jailhouse Lock. But Marilyn Manson, debt collector, they are dealing with this enemy stand that if they lose the bet they made, they're going to get their organs ripped out. But in addition, the rules of the prison are like, all right, everybody get back inside, rec time's over. So it's like we're having to fight against the systems of like the real normal human society around us and the stand at the same time.
Can I just go off on a short tangent here? It's like Araki really loves stand battles to be gambles.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you got Darby Elder, Darby Younger. You got fucking Boy Two Man. Josuke versus Rohan.
That was the next one I was going to say.
With the CeeLo game.
With them dice.
And then of course Marilyn Manson.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And then they didn't. The whole fight wasn't about gambling, but the part in Tattoo You where they go into the casino and they try and get rid of the money that way. And then there's that awesome like Old West casino shootout. That's one of the greatest fights. I can't wait to see that animated in 10 years. Gotta get all our running gags in here. This is the final
sad reality.
The sad reality of it. You know, Stone Ocean took like two and a half years to be announced. And then another half year to come out.
God, I hope they pick up the pace.
It's only going to get longer from here. I hope they don't pick up the pace, because if they pick up the pace, that means CGI horses.
No, I mean, I hope they pick up the pace, like, between announcements. Because we know it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, that's true. Although, like, I feel like they won't announce it until, like...
They have something ready?
Right, but it's like, not only that they have something ready, but that they have, like, staff working on it. Like, it's like, okay, this has entered production. Go! You know, like, we have people to draw it, we have people to direct it, the production is now beginning, and then probably a little bit after that we get the announcement.
What do you think is the chance of, like, them making, like, a a B team to work on Steel Ball Run while Part 6 is in its final like airing phase.
Well, now you see, that would result in Part 7 coming out sooner. But I feel like when you say the words B team, I immediately think of like people who are not as talented. And as such, that's gonna just split the crew for Part 6 between like the people trying to make Part 6 look good and the people doing the groundwork for 7.
Right.
And it's like, if the B team's laying the groundwork, then it's like the A team, once they're done, is gonna have to come over here and like correct everything. And then also Part 6 will be weaker.
I understand the concern. Nobody wants a repeat of like Killer Queen's initial appearance in the Part 4 anime.
Although like, it's such a, because they give him this like, they give him this terrifying like black shadowy form, and you see him like that first, like a skull.
Yeah, but
and then he comes out, and it's like, come on, man! You put so much. Couldn't you have put like 50% work into the shadowy form and 50% work into this?
You know what? I've changed my mind. I've turned around on this. I do want to repeat it because the hilarity of that is almost worth it.
It was great, and I remember people at the time, like,
plus they did fix it in the following episode.
They did. They fixed it in the like the opening shot being the same as the previous shot. It was already better, and then on the Blu-ray they had it fixed when it showed up first, which is like some of those because I watched.
So like I would take a quality drop on like the later episodes of Part 6 willingly if it meant we got Part 7 faster, and they went back and fixed it later on the Blu-rays.
But the thing is, with the fixing on the Blu-rays, I watched all the episodes of Part 4 as they came out. And I remember them different than when I go back and watch them now. Like, you remember how they redrew, like, all of the Shinobu scenes?
I don't remember that, no.
She looks, like, totally different now. They made her look more like baby round head, like Part 5-ish. You know? And I felt like her original look, it's, like, sort of a sloppier drawing. It's not as detailed, but I liked it more. And so, like, that part of it, people were like, oh, that sucks, I can't wait until they redraw that. And so now I go back and I look at it and I'm like, this isn't what I remember. So I feel like having the two versions at all is not superior to just having one good one.
I feel like also, though, Part 7 is, like, the more popular part.
Yeah.
Not only in Japan, obviously, because Part 6 isn't very popular over there, but also I think more people who have read Part 7 in the West also like Part 7 more than Part 6. So it's like, I don't know, what is preferable here? Would you rather see Part 7 sooner and like have a slight drop in quality on the later episodes of Part 6? Or would you rather have solid Part 6, but you gotta wait 5 years for Part 7?
You know what, call me crazy, but I would rather do that second thing. As much as it would be nice to get this JoJo thing moving at a steady clip and we get a new, like once the part ends, we get the next one like 2 years later, that'd be nice. However, like, even if it's this thing where, that's not everyone's favorite part, we can sort of skimp on that one, I really don't want them to. I want that to be their only focus during this time, so that every single bit of Part 6 that I love gets the proper attention. Because, like, fucking planet waves.
I also think I misrepresented the problem, because like the ending of Part 6 is solid. That's not the part you want to skimp on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. They like both seem like bad options to me.
Yeah.
I would rather not watch Part 7 when I'm fucking 50.
Yeah, but at that point it's going to be like You're My Dad, and that's a classic Western to you. Like, that's what a classic Western story is. Oh, I read this when I was a kid, when I was just a teenager. Amazing. But, I want all that shit in the second half of Part 6 to get their full attention. All those parts, all those bits from, like, the fucking Punishment Ward onwards. Like, Planet Waves, and then, like, Yo-Yo Ma, and then everything else. The fight with Whitesnake, where he fucking shows up and he's Weather Report, but then he's actually Poochie.
I guess technically you also want like the less memorable parts of 6 to get the same like glow up, because then it's you remember at least they're good on the anime.
Exactly. Do you remember how people were like, they enjoyed the Part 5 villain crew, La Squadra? They thought it was cool when it happened in the manga. It was like, oh, nice, we have like a cool Italian mafia enemy stand user team that we're constantly fighting. But in the anime, they knew that people liked that concept and that it didn't get much screen time, so they gave us these scenes of like this.
Characters.
Yeah, they became characters who like talk to each other, and they have a little bit more depth to them.
As opposed to just boss battles.
Yeah, you took these guys who didn't have that much like narrative cohesion between each other and made it a little bit more like it feels more like a thing. And I feel like I want that exact same thing to happen in part 6. Like, you remember even the fight against Formaggio, where he's little feet and Narancia is shrinking and he has to fight the spider in the bottle? Kind of a throwaway fight. You could skip that. Doesn't matter. Solo Narancia fight, like, he gets a little bit of development, but how much does his development matter to the overall part? Not that much. But it's not skippable in that, like, they don't think it is, so they didn't treat it like it was.
But who cares? It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, who cares? It's fucking awesome, because they spent so much, like, time and animation making that fight with the spider in the bottle awesome. Like, go back and look at that. The fucking Sakuga on, like, the spider swiping at him and him dodging Tiny Narancia. It's amazing. And then they do the shot where, like, he gets out and he does the bombing with Aerosmith, and then he's standing in the middle of the street where it's, like, fire behind him. The tiniest little fights against the most throwaway opponents in the anime, because the animators love this stuff as much as we do, becomes new. They like breathe new life into it, and it becomes like a real thing. That's what I'm waiting for part 6, 7,
Another
8.
example is like when Shigeshi died in part 4.
Right.
Like when I read it in the manga, I didn't give a shit.
You were just like, oh, well, there he goes.
I was like, okay.
There's that guy who was introduced last fight.
All right.
Yeah.
But in the anime, like when they added like the sad music and like they dictated the timing of the scene.
Right.
It's like that does so much.
And you see him like bloodied walking towards the door, and he's like, if I can just get to Josuke. Like you really are with him in that moment, as opposed to just being like the observer. Because of the music and because of the pacing of the scene. Like you are in Shigechi's mind.
You don't control the pacing of the scene
right.
When it's translated to anime.
Which is something I love about manga, is that you control the pacing. It moves as fast as your brain moves. But there's something to be said for taking that control away from you and forcing you to experience tension on their time.
It's good when the anime doesn't have good pacing. Mm-hmm. Like there's some anime adaptations that like they don't take full advantage of the ability to dictate the pacing of a
all
scene.
of the advantages of animation.
But in cases like most JoJo parts when they're animated, like they are much better. Mm-hmm.
They're like really trying to impart all of the possible bonuses from it moving now and having sound. They're really trying to elevate it. And so like that's something that I'm extremely excited to see in part 8. I guess my favorite one. I don't know if it's been dethroned. I haven't had a chance to think about it. But in part 8, like Blue Hawaii, fucking this shit at the end with the guardrail, like those are going to be intense. They're going to be awesome. Because of this thing we've been talking about where they elevate these little fights that sort of come and go into these real
The only problem is we're going to have to wait until we're like 80.
Yeah, but that'll be cool. I'll be wearing the Josuke cosplay again, but with gray hair. Maybe your shirt will have finally arrived by then.
Oh, man.
The postal system. But yeah.
U.S. Postal Service.
Yeah, through snow, sleet, and hail, we'll get your package to you.
Unless the office is closed because of COVID, which
In which
always
case,
is.
fuck it. But anyway.
I don't know, maybe I'll just order a new shirt.
Just order a second one.
Just pray it doesn't go through that office.
So, what were we talking about on this page that got us to that? We were talking about the spin-off potential in that.
We were talking about how Kiyomi's cameo is unearned.
And then you said Araki forgot that she was a bad mother. And he's expecting us to have forgotten. And then we got off on all that other stuff. But yeah, I would really like them to take as much time as they want on those parts. Also because, like, I need to have new JoJo stuff to look forward to in order to stay alive. So, even if after part 6 ends I'm a little bit sad because we're not going to get part 7 the next day, I'm still, remaining on this earth, biding my time. I just gotta hold out until the part 7 comes out. So, let's keep me alive for as long as possible, huh? Okay, going again. We gotta blaze through this shit, my friend.
Alright, so...
Kiyomi Kujo makes a totally unearned cameo. Next. And then we talk about her. A number of people.
Oh, here, he talks about Carrera-chan.
Yeah, hey, what, shouldn't I get to mark her off on the bingo card? Fuck, we still need to talk about that.
Yes, that's fine. Oh, you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah, let's talk about that now. Hold
She
on,
hasn't realized at all that it's me, I'm Josefumi. Well, I can't blame her. I don't have the same hairstyle.
Let me pull that up on my phone so I can take a look at it.
Sure. She already got a new, different life.
So on our bingo card, we're going to go from top to bottom, left to right. We had Josuke equals fugitive, which we didn't get to cross out because there was no mention of that. We cut back to present day, which happened.
We did, right here.
Holly update, that happened. Walleyes info.
Nope. But I feel like, maybe it was us who were the fools for expecting more Walleyes info. Don't we already have enough?
Riding into sunset with Yasuo, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Any sort of Daya or Hato content,
We got that.
We'll get to that. Radio Gaga is a rock human / animal. We got that. Paper Moon King usage, unfortunately no.
Nope.
Return of the unused fruits.
Nope.
Josefumi parentage revealed. Yep, early in the chapter. Head doc news. I forget where this comes in. You have this checked off.
Oh,
we're going to come back on to that?
Yeah, no, because that one, did I cross that off? I checked it?
You checked it.
Oh, well, I think we didn't get any news on the head doctor. I think I checked that off because we saw Toru. I think that's a false flag, but that's okay.
Well, Fumi uses spin. Unfortunately, no.
Nope, sadly.
Free space. Josuke hair. Man, I'm bummed.
I'm bummed too. Like right here, when he says, my memories, or I'm not Kujo Josefumi or Kira Yoshikage, I'm the one that came from the soil, Josuke. Why doesn't his hat blow off in the wind right there? Because that's the thing that's making you Kira still, fully assume a new identity. Take off the sailor suit.
Honestly,
put on a new outfit.
Honestly, I don't even want the wind to blow it off. I want him to just take it off.
Yeah. What if the wind blows it off behind him, and then he starts walking away, like symbolically, and then Yasuo is like, Josuke, your hat! And he's like, leave it. And then she picks it up and puts it on.
Part 4 ending callback. What is this about?
Oh, part 4 ending callback is that I thought it might end like part 4, where we see sort of all of our characters together one last time, and then there's sort of like yes, the hearts of these young people are truly golden. I thought it was going to do like the town of Morio is safe thanks to these brave young people. But no, it didn't. It did like a part 5 ending callback.
Yeah,
because all of them around the table in Sleeping Slaves?
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up when we talk about that.
Sure. Well, we could get there. I really like this line. We see Soft and Wet one more time in the first page. Mamazuku's still dead update. Yep.
Bite marks. I guess we're kind of stretching it, but
stretching it. Super stretch.
Norisuke alive update. They mentioned that near the end of the chapter.
Yes, we'll get there as well.
Tsurugi update. She appears.
I really want... Okay, so even if, like, Josuke isn't in the next part, if he's in it like Johnny Joestar, where he dies before it starts, that'll be sad. But if any character from part 8 is going to be present in the next part, it should be Tsurugi. Tsurugi's been through a lot. Tsurugi's had a very eventful childhood. And we still have that sort of lingering, like, the darkness in one's heart. And also Tsurugi crushed her classmate between the fucking gates at the thing. So it's like... I really do want that character to appear again as like a full-grown adult and like see what they're up to, see what they're like.
Lucy discovers Fumi's identity. Yes.
Yes. She guessed. She got it right.
Iwasuke, the rock dog, is shown.
Yeah!
We'll get there.
That was my most outlandish prediction that actually came true.
That was your moonshot.
Yes, it was!
Part 8 ends on 2-page spread. Unfortunately, we got that wrong.
Nope. You said that was so guaranteed that could be the free space.
I
was like, yeah, you're right, but I'm not in the business of having a free space be something that doesn't say free space.
If you had the clown wig, I would demand that you take it off and give it to me. Jobin somehow.
Jobin somehow.
That was supposed to be Jobin alive somehow, because that was my moonshot.
Yeah. I changed it to Jobin. somehow. I just erased the word alive and left a blank line. Just because then that would be more like, you could arguably check that off with any number of possible things.
Carrera appears.
Nope.
Sadly, no.
Oh, well, she did.
Well,
He drew her.
I guess.
He drew her. Yeah. Okay.
So that was our bingo card. So let's get back to the chapter. Now that we've discussed that.
Now, this page I want to give some attention to because I really, really, really love this page. My memories. They begin when I opened my eyes under the soil. No matter what I do, no memories of what I did then will come back. I'm not Kujo Josefumi or Kiriyoshikage. I'm the one that came from the soil, Josuke. This is like an update to his speech about being his own person that he gave right before jumping out of the police car. This is like the final word on it. Like I did it. I figured out myself. And then he looks into the... Oh yeah, so she's referencing the dreams and memories speech that Toru gave here. Before memories, there may be something we'd call dreams. So he doesn't get his memories back, but he gets to see all these photos of little baby Josefumi. And he's like pretty ugly. Like look at him. Like his head's misshapen. And also I still don't like that Araki doesn't color in the thing on the side of his head because it looks like he's bald. It's just a really ugly baby. Like, you mean to tell me he had the pompadour the whole time since he was 3?
I guess so.
That's not even true for original Josuke. When we see him as a child in the car, when the delinquent puts the thing,
because
he
why
has
would
normal
he have
hair.
Yeah, because why would he have that was because like that was when he decided to model his pompadour after him.
Right. So which mysterious stranger saved this kid? Why does he have a pompadour? You know?
No mysterious stranger. Remember, he's a child.
JoJo has told us that in order to have a pompadour,
he
must be imprinted on by some sort of male role model with a pompadour.
That was the old universe. This is the new universe. You can just have a pompadour as a baby. Why not? I'm glad we get to see Paisley Park one more time.
Yeah.
Like, even if she's not really doing anything, that's still my best girl.
And she's sort of, like, now more human and less robot. Like, she's still got the ball joints on the arms. I don't know, it's inconsistent. Right, so, it seems like all this time she was looking for you. That's sad.
Are you trying to... Okay.
Sorry, no, I was just looking at it for a moment. Plus, just a bit of trivia, Josefumi. Alright, so he found a lone Geita sandal on the ground. So let me ask you this, is that, the sandal he kicked off at the train station that day? Or is this supposed to be, like...
I don't see how it could be. I mean, that was the 1940s.
Yeah, but it said his grandfather... Oh, and her father was a kid. Yeah, so Josefumi's grandfather.
Oh, okay.
But even so, yeah. Yeah, Josefumi was named by the grandfather, who is Kiyomi's father, and how much battery we got left on this bitch? Oh, okay, cool, 2.
You should have tons. I mean, you just charged it.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I went to go check the battery. I saw a red thing flashing, but it's the recording indicator. So anyways, I was going to be like, oh yeah, this could be that, maybe he still is a descendant of Joseph. That's why he has the birthmark. But no, I mean, like, they're telling us explicitly the name came from the granddad picking up the sandal. And then years later, he's like, you know what I think's a good name? Josefumi. Josefumi Guru. It's like, granddad, you're drunk. Stop it. I'm not naming my kid that. All right, anyway.
Then she named her kid that.
And then... Yeah, so here it is. Here's the Daya and Hato content, which I was missing. I didn't think we would get this, but here it is. So then we go through this whole scene with the cakes, and then Hato gives a big speech. These are like the most lines she's had in fucking ages.
I think this is the most lines she's had in this entire manga.
We'll save from Vitamin C. Where
also her own arc, I guess.
Yeah. But then everybody bursts into tears. And Josuke, you choose the cake. Yeah, and there it is.
There's the one-page ending.
There it is. Right, so there's Iwasuke the rock dog in the corner there.
And Yasuo just takes off. She's gone. She's out of there.
Yeah, she's piecing the fuck out. Well, I'm imagining because she's like, well, Josuke has found his family. I'm going to let him have time with them. this whole
He
time...
doesn't spend jack shit when it comes to time with this family.
Yeah, well, you know, like, they value him now, obviously. Look how they've all got their arms around each other. They're hanging out around the table. Like, think about it, though. Like, Daya tried to seduce Josuke. Both Hato and Mitsuba had, like, their lives saved by Josuke in a stand battle.
Yeah, this is kind of the weirdest relationship ever between Josuke and Daya. Are they, like, brother and sister now? Are they...
Good question, dude. Good question. I have
Because that whole arc of hers kind of makes this weird.
Yeah. You think you forgot about that one, too? Why did he draw the California king bed cheese pieces, man? I'm so mad. I'm so upset. She's not going to erase anyone's memory. We're not going to get to the flash
This is some fucking Luke and Leia shit.
Yeah, god damn it. But, you know, this whole time that I thought that Araki had sort of given up on the motif of, like, Josuke becoming an official member of the Higashikata family, I didn't think we were moving in that direction. Because I thought this whole time that Kato was going to come in and be like, sorry, everyone. I know you've turned against my son, Jobin, because he's a murderer and was working against your interests, apparently. But he was doing so under my orders, and you cannot be mad at him because this is actually the right thing to do. Everybody who agrees with me and the family, come over, step across this dotted line in the sand. And that, you know, like Tsurugi would go over because Jobin's her dad. Maybe some of these people out of fear. But then you'd have Josuke on the other side being like, no way, man. If this is what the Higashikata family is about, then, like, no way. I must fight you.
I think I know what my main problem with this ending is.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, the first time we see Josuke, he's a man with no home, with no name, right? He gets his name from Yasuo, who names him after a dog, and then he finds a home with the Higashikata family, and it's like, he's supposed to grow and develop into his own person, and he says he's become his own person, and it's like, where is he at the end of the story? Right back where he started.
Yeah, I guess so. Although, now it's sort of like, he's like the man of the family. He's like Norisuke the Fifth. I mean, Norisuke's still alive, I guess. But, you know, he's now an old, crippled man whose neck is exploded with only one hand. So, Josuke is, like, coming in to fucking fill the spot that Jobin left, and then I guess Norisuke will leave soon.
Man, imagine being Joshu in this situation. Like, your older brother gets killed, and then it's like, Norisuke's like, alright, when I die, Josuke is going to be the head of the family. It's like, what the fuck?
That's fucked up. That would be funny, though, because then that would be like a continuation of the joke from the beginning, where Norisuke is like, Josuke gets to stay in your room. You gotta sleep in the basement. And he's like, Dad, why? And he's like, shut the fuck up. And he gives him, like, money. Be nice to him. You know, I'm really upset because when Norisuke, the reason he was like, be nice to Josuke, is what he says in the garden to Josuke. He's like, I knew Kira. And we were working on a cure to this rock curse thing together. And you look like Kira. So I've welcomed you into my home, because if you know the same things he did, then I need you. Because he's like,
Josuke very clearly doesn't know the same things he knew.
Yeah, Josuke says, you killed Kira, didn't you? And he's like, no, what? Half of you is Kira. If I killed Kira, and I found out that you were him, I would kill you immediately. Why would I invite you into my home? Like, he's genuinely, like, put off by the suggestion that Josuke thinks he's the bad guy.
Man, I'm really bummed about Joshu and Josuke not getting their team-up fight.
You're speaking my language. The Shakedown Road was like the promise that these two could fight together one day. But right now, they're butting heads. They can't see eye to eye. They're doing a fight together, but they're also working against each other. And it was like the idea that maybe one day they could put their differences aside and stand side by side and have a second battle where they're actually helping each other.
And like, I think that is before it was like tied with or like it was like second to like Josuke and Jobin not getting their rematch.
Yeah.
But now I think it's tied. Like as it's progressed, it's become much more of a blatant like missed opportunity to not bring back that team up.
Yeah. And I feel like it would have had so much potential because you can do those callbacks to Shakedown Road and those callbacks to like their sort of like bickery brother relationship around the house. Although really Joshu is the one like poking him, and he's just like, what? Like he just is doing silly shit. Do you remember the page where Josuke is at the Higashikata household and they're like teaching him how to shave, and he like puts a bunch of soft and wet bubbles on his face? Like all that little stuff. Like I want that to be more meaningful because it would make this more meaningful. You know, like expand those around the house scenes. Deepen the relationship between Josuke and these people, because if we're going to end here around the table with them, we need to care about them more. Each of these people got like one token arc. Joshu got two. He got Shakedown Road and he got Milagro Man.
And Josuke wasn't even there for Milagro Man.
Yeah, no, he has no concept of what sort of development might have happened. So yeah,
I mean, he got like a mini arc where like he tried to fight Toru and just got iced in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, man. Although maybe being a man with one tiny baby arm will humble him and teach him maturity.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize he still has the baby arm.
You didn't realize? That's the funniest panel in the universe right there at the end where he's like moving the cakes around just with his left hand. He's like, okay, here's the cake and then here's the other one. Like he's
okay,
just...
you got this family of like fucked up people in this last shot. You got this fucking dog made out of rocks. You got this
woman
fucking
with a rock nose.
This fucking woman with like no nose.
You've got a child who's forced to be transgender against their will. You've got a 16-year-old girl trying to seduce a man of unknown age who came naked out of the ground.
Who she's also technically stepbrother and stepsister with.
And she's blind. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember she's supposed to be blind?
Her disability.
Yeah.
And you got this fucking man with a baby arm.
Yeah. Well, and Hato. I don't have anything funny to say for her. Alright, but, yeah.
Well, I mean, her last boyfriend turned out to be this fucking psychopath who tried to kill her whole family.
Yeah, and she had to stab him through the head with her high heels. That's a pretty crazy sequence of events to happen to a person. But yeah, I guess,
Not all trauma is physical.
I guess that's how we feel about JoJolion, though. This ending shot gives us sort of a nice feeling, but also at the same time, it's like...
You can't stop thinking about all the missed opportunities that this part had.
All the missed opportunities and all the things that it seemed to be setting up that were never paid off. All of the potential great moments that were left by the wayside.
By the way, you see the Higashikata fruit parlor mark. That's what was going to be on my shirt that I was going to wear to the podcast, but like because the U.S. Postal Service fucked up.
I thought that was going to be a really cool looking shirt, man. I was excited about it.
My wardrobe, just as disappointing as the ending of JoJolion.
Oh, wow. Topical. Very nice. You tied it in with an emotion we're all feeling. But yeah, is Part 8, the anime, really going to fix all this?
I hope it fixes some of it.
Yeah, maybe like if you just give me one or two of the things I'm complaining about, I won't care about the others so much.
If you give me like a rematch with Jobin and a team up fight with Josuke and Joshu, I will walk away from the Part 8 anime happy.
I don't know if they will make such drastic changes as that.
No, I think those are...
It's always possible that there will be the unprecedented, totally new material added. You know? There's always a chance that like by the time they get to Part 8, they'll be feeling ballsy. And they're like, fuck it, add a whole new fight. It might not turn out good, but they might have the balls to do it at that point. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you know what the sad reality is.
Yeah.
By the time Part 8 gets animated, Araki might be dead.
Yeah, he may not live to see it.
Which means he won't have creative control,
That's
and it
quite
might be
sad.
awful.
Yeah. Here, hang on one second. So, something I wanted to say was I don't think the Jobin-Josuke rematch can happen, actually. Like, I've been rooting for it this whole time, but think about it. If you're going to end here with him being accepted into the family, he can't kill a member of the family. You know, like, even if everyone's like, Jobin's definitely lost it, man, he's evil now.
Yeah, there's really...
If Josuke fights him and kills him, these people aren't going to look at him the same. They're not going to invite him to the cake thing.
There's really no way to... Well, before this,
Maybe Araki knew that, and he was like, so I have to have Toru kill him.
Before this, he attempted to kill Norisuke, and that didn't really go over well with most of the family. Mm-hmm. So... But yeah, with the way that the story ends, there's really nowhere to fight to to fit that conflict in.
Which is why, in my JoJolian RPG Maker game, they're not all going to end this way. You know, this will be the end of the canon timeline. But if you go the other way and you fight Jobin, you'll get a different ending. It doesn't all end at the cake table. I will make this one day.
And Toru will be conspicuously absent for seemingly no reason.
Seemingly? No, I'm kidding. So, do we have much else to say, or can I go on to that anecdote about driving up here? About a bird?
I guess, I don't know if we have anything more to say about this chapter.
You know, like, JoJolian, I love ya. I'm gonna miss ya.
I don't think I will.
No, but I will. I mean, like, there's a part of me that's like, this is the greatest, and this is never, like, he's not gonna try something this ambitious again, you know? Even if he didn't fully pull it off. He's not gonna try something this ambitious. I feel like the next one's gonna be kind of scaled back and safer. There were too many goddamn characters in this story, if you think about it. Like, for everyone to get equal screen time.
For a part tentatively called JoJo Lands.
Do you think we're going to be doing some world traveling in that one?
I think at this point, I would expect some because, like,
we've been in the same location one whole part, so the next one, let's be globetrotters again, right?
Well, also, like, so like what's been the pattern so far? It's like the first part was like mainly local.
First part, England.
Second part globetrotting.
Yeah.
Third part globetrotting.
Fourth part
Fourth
localized.
part local.
Fifth part combination because it's globetrotting but just within one country.
Well, I mean that's local.
Yeah.
Sixth part local. Seventh part local. Eighth part local. I think.
Did you just say that the seventh part was local?
Yes, cross country.
Okay, but I'm saying that the ones that are like, they're still traveling, they're just not going around the world. Like, those characters aren't going home just to sleep in their own bed at their own house every night.
Okay, fine.
Like, they're still on the road constantly.
Fine. If you want to count it like that, then
well,
it's
a traveling part versus a sedentary part, you know?
Like, well, but by that logic, the only sedentary parts are part 4 and part 8. I mean, part 6 is mostly sedentary. But then, like, once they leave the prison, they go to one location and that's it.
Yeah, and it's like that what I felt like, at least, it wasn't fully either one, but it had a good sense of like, yeah, we've been in the prison long enough, it's time to do the prison break storyline and start moving this thing toward a conclusion. So I felt like if we had, you know, like maybe we're in this, I don't want it to be like part 3 where we're traveling every episode all the time, new location,
no,
new
I don't.
stand. But if we, you know, we go to Italy and we have a little story arc there, and then it's like, now we have to go to, you know, like, let's do a little bit of traveling.
More like part 2?
Yeah, exactly. Where I feel like I don't know what's coming next, I can't sense the formula. That's what I really want.
Like, if
I want to be surprised.
If the Joseph Joestar of this universe got his own part, I would expect that, like, that would be the way that they take it.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Part 9 is on the horizon.
I mean, like, he literally, that's literally his storyline. He starts in America, goes to Japan, then goes back to America, has to stay there during the war,
right?
But then he goes back to Japan.
So, like, fuck this, I gotta wrap it up. We got, like, I can see it's on the 1 battery indicator now.
Alright, tell me your anecdote about traveling up here.
We gotta do this. Oh, yeah, I've got 15 minutes to do it. I would love for part 9 to be that Joseph Joestar part. Hey, what if it's got like multiple protagonists in different time periods and we jump between them?
That could be a possibility.
That could be something that's as ambitious as this. Either way, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm cautiously excited for part 9. I don't think Araki has lost his touch. I don't think part 8's ending indicates that he sucks now. I think it just got a little messy, a little big. I think it got away from him a little bit. But I don't think the part was bad. I'm a little disappointed with the ending, but I enjoyed the ride. I love you, JoJolian. I'm going to miss you. Any parting words for our good friend, this manga that's kept us company the last year and a half? Well, for you, longer.
I don't think I feel... I don't think I felt as strongly as you at any point about this particular manga. It's like the lows haven't been as low for me, the highs not as high. I'm not
That's
as
the trouble with strong emotions.
I don't think I'm as big of a JoJo fan as you.
Well, maybe, because sometimes, like today, we were walking around and I kept being like, look at that pond, it's like Mitsukabe Shrine. It's like, no, Zach, it's a pond. There are ponds everywhere. Like, I have terminal JoJo brain rot. So yeah, I think you might be right.
But also, it's like this part. After like a certain point, I just become numb to like the disappointment.
Right. And you start seeing him set something up, and you start just assuming, oh, that's not going to go anywhere. Whereas I built it up in my head like, no, there's still a chance. Everything will go somewhere. It'll all pay off. And it's like, I think that thinking made me like not able to enjoy this ending of the story. Maybe I'll reread it. And I'll like it more.
Which shouldn't happen with JoJo because like it's a manga that's supposed to challenge you to think.
Yeah,
and theorize.
But
I can't confidently say that I'm gonna miss it. I think
You're excited for the next one? I'm ready to be done with JoJo and move on?
I'm looking forward to a change in scenery.
Right on. I think because Josuke, I feel like, has the least gimmicky personality of any JoJo. Like, he's hard to explain. Like, what's he like? You know, like Giorno, ruthless and respectful.
Well,
Jolene, she's like a badass. She's got Joestar intelligence, but she doesn't plan, she just does.
Well,
Josuke, he's like Joseph, but Jotaro, he's, you can pretty, like, succinctly summarize all these guys.
Well, if you want a description of Josuke's personality, it depends on which Josuke you mean. Do you mean early JoJolion Josuke, where he was fucking weird, man?
Yeah, do you remember when he posed consciously? No character in JoJo has ever said, I'm about to strike a pose. It's just like the way they move in their world. But he says to the dudes on Shakedown Road, I've won. And then he starts to walk away, and he turns around and he goes, no, let me say it completely. I've won. Completely.
I think the closest thing to that is
he poses at them.
I think the closest thing to that is in part 4. I think it was the rat fight where.
He says
where Jotaro says, "Now say something cool, Josuke."
Wait a second. That happens against the fight with the Kira's father in the photograph.
Was it?
Yeah, because I remember they're in Kira's house, and he's like...
I thought it was the rat fight.
He's like, all right, Josuke, now say something cool. And he's like, you didn't scare me at all. Not even a little bit, dumbass. And it's because the ghost is flying around and trying to... Although, I feel like a similar moment exists in the rat fight, where he's like, go, Josuke. But I don't know.
I'm not sure which one it was. It was one of those fights.
It was one of those two.
But it's a rare case of Jotaro just being a total dork.
Yeah, and it's awesome. But it's like, people. I saw people when the part 4 came out, and they saw Jotaro being like, oh, I guess your watch is pretty nice, but you won't be able to read the time after I break it. Your face, that is. People were like, oh my god, Jotaro wouldn't talk like that. That's not the Jotaro we know. This is stupid. It's out of character. And I'm like, are you guys fucking kidding me? Do you remember when he said to Steely Dan, like, I'm writing you a receipt? Like, he's very dramatic. He loves, like, showboating and being like, He's
this edgy kid who just never grew out of that phase of wanting to always be cool.
Yeah, that's why his wife divorced him, probably. But, I will say...
that is, like, the closest thing, I think, to, like... Josuke actually consciously posing is like being...
Damn it! Alright, well, what time is it?
8:59.
Oh, Christ. Okay, we are going to my phone, and we're going to record the last, 2 minutes of this. I mean, unless you want to wait for the fucking battery to charge.
I guess we'll just use your phone.
Let's just use phone, and I'll be like, okay, the thing died, let's wrap it up, Jesus, this is such a ramshackle operation. This is the rammiest and the shackliest we've ever been.
You want to just drop face cam altogether and just finish this on audio?
Yeah, sure, but can we do it right now?
Yeah.
I just have, one thing to say. I wanted to get to the end of the... That's why I had been like, so what do you want to say goodbye to JoJolion with? Because then I have a great bookender. I have a great closing bit. Give me 5 minutes. We'll get right through it. Voice memos. Here we go. All right, so the camera died.
Yeah, so I was saying that the Josuke consciously posing was the closest thing to that was Jotaro
consciously telling Josuke to use a one-liner in part 4.
Being aware of one of his one-liners.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the closest we've gotten to seeing that personality trait in any other JoJo's. But what I was saying was, I feel like the lack of definition on Josuke's personality, the lack of
you can't really describe him in a word. He doesn't have a specific gimmick. He's very, like, he's his own person. He's a complex character. It gives you room to be, like, I don't know. They haven't clearly defined him in a word, so I felt that he was more interesting. It's like you can read into all of his actions and try and figure out what kind of person he is. He's not sort of like a cartoon character. Like, he's like this and this. He's like this weird prism of a dude that you see light refract through him and you see how he responds to it. But anyways, I really loved him as a JoJo, and I guess I'll say goodbye, JoJolian. We hardly knew thee.
I wish Josuke's character was more consistent in this manga.
Or at least that we had a reason for it changing.
Yeah, he kind of just, like, became stoic after, like... When did his personality change? Was it, like, just shortly into the... Was it, like, the Yatsuyu Yagiyama fight? Was that when it changed? I don't know.
But even then, he said to him underwater, like... No, even then, during Yatsuyu Yagiyama, he says, I'm not going to use my bubbles to defend anymore. Like, he's saying cool stuff. He's still being, like, showman Josuke who would pose at you. I feel like it was around Vitamin C. Like, when he discovers his identity.
I'm talking about, like, when he drops, like, all the weird, like, habits he has. Like,
oh, yeah, like,
where
saying the measurements of things, sleeping between.
Can't sleep without, like, pressure on him.
He eats the bean thing and it squirts out. Yeah, all that goofy shit. That got dropped real fast. He would have been a much goofier character. He would have been easier to summarize if he'd kept that aspect of him. But, yeah, Josuke is an interesting JoJo. I'd like to see him again in a spin-off.
All right. You want to just, like, wrap this on, like, a little Sleeping Slaves epilogue, and you can tell me about your trip up here?
Yes, I would love to. I'm so glad that you mentioned it as a Sleeping Slaves epilogue, because that's exactly what it is. So earlier in the story of you and me doing this podcast today, I was driving on a fucking highway. I think it was the 8. And the point is, I'm on the highway, and I'm, like, looking at my ETA for arriving here, and I'm like, if I drive over the speed limit, I can get there faster, and I can watch this ETA tick down by minutes. So I'm doing that. I'm going pretty fast. And there's just a tiny moment where I'm going like 95 miles an hour. There's nobody around me. I'm covering a lot of empty road fast, and I'm not getting in trouble. It's all good. But all of a sudden, there's a bird right here. And it's like, this happens so fast. And I see a bird out of my peripheral vision, and he's going to do the thing where he just like swipes across my car, and he catches the cushion of wind coming off of my car as he comes over here. I see cars do that to me in normal everyday life all the time. Like, oh, that bird's going to hit my windshield. No, he caught the cushion. It's all good. And and then just dunk, like really loud. The bird just smacks into my windshield, and I'm like, I don't like hitting animals with my car. I don't like ending the lives of, like, perfectly innocent, peaceful beings. But that bird just, like, misjudged that distance, and he just slammed right into the fucking windshield of my car at, like, 100 miles an hour. So then I'm thinking about, like, that bird twitching by the side of the road, like, being dead. And I'm thinking, like, man, life is fleeting. Like, that's a cliche thing to think after you hit an animal, but it really does put that into perspective for you. It's like, any of us could be just like that bird. Any of us could just be metaphorically flying across a metaphorical street, and a metaphorical car just comes out of nowhere at 100 miles an hour and takes you out. And so, having had this knowledge put into perspective for me on my drive up, I suddenly was like, I'm so happy we're doing this. I'm so happy we actually made this happen, where we met up in person to record the final episode. Like, in a world where life is fleeting, which is the one we exist in, I don't want to have regrets. I don't want to look back and be like, I remember when I could have done that cool thing but didn't. You know, that's no life to look back on. So, the fleetingness of existence being in perspective, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we made this shit happen. This is a handshake that you can't see on the audio cast because the camera died. But, you know, we made it happen. It seemed like something that wasn't destined to be, but we imposed our will upon fate, and we made it fucking happen.
We defied fate.
We defied fate here today. You know, meeting up with your internet friends in real life is not something that is fated to happen. If you do nothing, fate will not just give that to you at some point. You got to reach out and you got to take it. You got to grab life by the bed frame and hit Chris in the knee with it by accident. I don't know. It's been good doing this podcast with you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been real.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we're going from here next with regards to like JoJo related stuff.
I have no idea. I was just saying, like, I'm glad I'm
we've
here.
had like ideas about doing like a part 6 anime.
Oh yeah, you heard about
cast,
this?
the Green Dolphin Hour.
Yeah.
But nothing solid yet. I think.
Right. If we were gonna do the Green Dolphin cast, it wouldn't be every time an episode comes out.
No,
Like,
that is way too much.
That's way too much podcasting. I don't think either of us is like up for all that. So if we were gonna do a podcast for JoJo Part 6, we'd do it like after an arc is over, or like every once in a while. So don't if that happens, it'll be infrequent. So what do we have coming up before that? What do we got on the docket?
Well,
for all the Zach and Chris fans out there.
We've got Disco Elysium streams coming up. On West. We've got more Batman on the way on my channel.
Indeed.
More Mega Man possibly.
Oh yeah, I got to do that. Last couple nights I've been sitting at home like, oh man, I should really edit some Mega Man, and I keep not following that impulse. And I know me, I'm impulsive. So in order to get anything done, I have to do it the moment the idea strikes me. So next time I think I should edit some Mega Man, I should be like, okay, whatever voice in my brain just said that, listen to that one. That one's in charge from now on.
And Minecraft streams whenever we figure out where that's going.
100%. So yeah, you can catch us around here and around there. And I guess we'll catch you on the flip side, audience.
Thank you all for being with us on this journey.
This year-and-a-half journey of sailor suits and much confusion. But it was all the better we took it with you. All right. Thanks.